Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are you out there? Thinker St. James here. Have you heard about this Raja Jackson situation? Anybody hear about this? It's not a very well-covered story. Not many people talking about it. I jest, of course. So this stream tonight is an addendum. This is an update stream to add context to the video that I put out about this situation right after it happened. The video that I did came out on what would have been Sunday. Sunday evening is when my video came out. The incident happened last Saturday. So Saturday night it happens. Sunday I put my video out. Now, with a couple of days removed, we have a few more things that have come out, or at least that I was not able to find at the time, and a lot more information that has come out. So we're going to watch this video here. This is from a channel called Mand, M-A-N-D, who started his YouTube channel specifically to talk about this incident, it seems like, because all the stuff on his channel is just about this, and this dude got more views on this video that we're going to watch than my entire channel has. So shout out to Mand for doing a really good job with this one. So we're going to watch this because I think that this video here is the best sequence of events as far as the actual incident goes. And then I've got another video from ITP MMA Live that's about some further context, updates and that kind of thing thereafter. And I've got a few other little pieces of information. And then there's some stuff that I'm just going to say out without having the video or link context for, because there's so goddamn much information regarding this story at this point that I can't have 700 different links open, and I don't have time to track every single piece of information as it comes out. But I've got a couple of other little things here. We'll get into it in just a second. So, Savage, how's it going, brother? Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate you, my guy. In fact, shout out to Arrogant Savage, because on my video, on the initial video about this subject, Savage was a person that provided a little bit more context that we're going to go over here in this video. I had said that there was something in my initial coverage that I didn't really understand why Raja had said something at one point. Savage kind of added a little bit of surrounding context to it, and I was like, that made a lot of sense, and it will be brought up in this video, so we'll go over that in the course of events here. Didgery Dave, appreciate you as well. Good day, my man. John Dong, what's up? How are you, sir? Good evening to all of you guys. Much appreciated for the homies showing up early for the stream. So yeah, this, like I said, we'll go through all of this. We will touch on a few other pieces of information as well. Before we get into Mand's video, though, I want to start off with this, because this is breaking news. Now, Rampage Jackson, of course, is also a streamer, also big on Kick, apparently. We saw that from the fact that he was finding out about this incident while he was on his own live stream. So, Rampage is still streaming throughout all of this. Like, Rampage has not taken any time off to deal with this situation, to, you know, be there for his family or any of that kind of stuff. He is still on stream. He is still going about his day-to-day life and filming it all for the world to see. So we're going to look at this real quick. This is a clip that I just was brought to my attention just like minutes before I started the stream. I actually said in the Discord, I was like, I cannot believe that there is still new additional elements that are thickening this plot. The plot continues to thicken. But I wanted to put this up front because what I want to talk about in the breakdown that we're going to go into is a lot, again, context. This is a lot of the surrounding elements that might have led Raja to do what he did, talk a little bit about his mental state, and some of the things that informed how his mind might have been working, or a lack of proper working function that got him into the position that he ended up in. So I'm just going to let this play real quick, and we'll talk about it in a second here. So this is Rampage from his live stream, which I believe was today. Yeah, this was just a couple hours ago that this was posted.
But this don't got nothing to do with nothing that's going on. But all I'm going to say is that my son hasn't been the same since his mom got murdered. It hasn't, and I know that. And I've been trying to be there for him and, make him laugh and cheer him up and everything. But I'm not a psychiatrist. I don't know what the fuck to do. And, I know my kids. He hasn't been the same with me. Like, he's just been distant from me. Like, he want to be more of a man and more of this.
So that's basically it. I hope that the volume was okay because it sounded a little low to me. So hopefully you guys were able to hear that. But if you didn't catch what Rampage just said there, apparently Raja's mother had been murdered at some point in the recent past? ? I don't know. But just, again, this is just another element of all of this that is kind of insane. So in addition to some of the stuff that we're going to talk about, keep in mind that fact now. That Raja Jackson is a 25-year-old whose mother was murdered at some point in the past. And he said, the way that Rampage is talking about it sounds like it was somewhat recent. He hasn't been the same since his mother was murdered. So that's pretty wild. And again, I play that up front, not only because it just came out, that this portion of Rampage's stream just happened, but also just as a contextual element to what we're going to be going into going forward here. So that's that. Let's get into Man's video about this situation. And so essentially what we're going to be doing is, I'm sure at this point everyone has seen the incident 8 million different times. We're going to go through the entire timeline of it. I'll stop at portions, give my thoughts. So let's just jump right in.
Raja Obama.
This is Raja Jackson, son of legendary fighter Quentin Rampage Jackson, and if you haven't seen the video yet, he got into some pretty bad shit last night. So to give some backstory to this whole thing, Raja was invited by his friend AJ Mana, someone who's wrestling on the card that night for Knox Wrestling. Raja even states later that he does not care about wrestling, that he's only here to support his friend AJ.
Okay, so first of all, shout out to the Ohio player. Good to see you, brother. First of all, so this AJ Mano person is somebody who is well wrapped up in this thing. A lot of the other wrestlers on the card have been talking about this guy, and apparently AJ had some kind of beef in the past with Syko Stu, who of course is the wrestler who is on the wrong end of this beating that Raja put on him. So Mana is like somebody who's kind of in the middle of a lot of this, and he, I guess I wouldn't want to say that he's at all to blame for exactly what happens here, because Raja is to blame for what happens, but he certainly is not entirely without any grain of guilt here, because he is the one that kind of pushes Raja towards giving the receipts, and we'll see that clip here in a little bit. But so Raja is friends with this AJ person. AJ is wrestling on the card, And Raja is there to support him. We'll see here in just a second when Raja is going to be talking about like the lack of interest in pro wrestling that he has. That's something that I got wrong in the initial coverage of this story. I thought that Raja was invited to this event to take part. He wasn't there to take part. He was just there to support his friend. So I had said that it wasn't like he was like pulled out of the crowd and like, you know, caught off guard by being involved in this. He kind of was a little bit, you know, and this does add a little bit more context to the can incident that started this whole thing, because Raja was just there to watch. This was just going to be him kind of hanging out, supporting his friend. And so he kind of got caught up in something that he wasn't anticipating or expecting, which I think is very important to note, considering what ends up happening here going forward. Savage says, I'm glad I was able to add some context. Appreciate you, brother. But I know you're on top of it. One of the first I seen cover it, and the information wasn't all over it and up to date. Yes, appreciate that. Thank you, bro. Hope you and everyone's doing good today, though. Yeah, absolutely. Much appreciated, man. Yeah, doing good. Hopefully this will be the last time that we're talking about this specific subject until, you know, Raja, until we find out what's going to happen to him. But for now, I do want to kind of go through all of this and then leave this, because it's just been having to see this footage over and over and over again. It wears on your psyche. So I'm sure it has been for many of you guys out there. So where we left off here, Raja is at the event supporting AJ, not participating, just as an observer. And we'll hear what he has to say here.
Yeah, AJ's mono's on the fight card. That's the only reason why I'm here.
AJ takes Raja to the back to meet the wrestlers that he's familiar with, the ones that he actually knows.
As Presidente, I fucking hate you. I hate this dude. Worse.
And that's when Syko Stu decides to come up behind Raja, stick his belly out, hands at the hips to get some camera time.
Okay, so AJ takes Raja backstage, and Raja does know a couple of these wrestlers. So I would guess that, I mean, and this is, again, this part's speculation, but obviously he is familiar with a couple of these people. So he might not be in the wrestling scene, but I guess he maybe through AJ knows some of these people and is aware of this environment. So it's like half and half, right? Like, it's not like he was there to participate, but he's not completely unaware of the wrestling, you know, environment of these people, at least the participants in it. So, I mean, like I said, it kind of falls in the middle now. He's not there to participate himself, but he is aware of pro wrestling. He's friends with a pro wrestler. So obviously he has some basis of understanding as to how this world operates to an extent. In fact, Kevin Lee came out with a statement, and Kevin Lee comes off as, a bit delusional and a loudmouth often. However, with his statement that he put out, he was 100% spot on, saying that, A, Raja needs to get locked up. I mean, I think everybody has come to that conclusion. Anybody with a sound mind in their head has come to that conclusion. But B, he said that we're all aware of pro wrestling at this point. We all know what the dynamics are there. Everybody knows that it's all a work. Everybody knows that it's not reality. All of the villains and the characters and the hits and the bumps and all this kind of stuff is all within the fictional world that they're creating as part of this essentially sports-based theatrical performance. So Raj is here. He's talking to a couple people. Obviously, he knows some of them. He's saying, I know this guy. I fucking hate you. He's joking with him, whatever. Seems pretty happy here, smile on his face at this point. Stu comes up. Stu, as I rightly said in the video, Stu saw the camera. So you're wrestlers. You're at the event. It's pro wrestling. One thing that I had mentioned in the video as well is that wrestling evolves with the technology. So even though they're backstage, if there is a camera on you, you are on. You are in character. You are a pro wrestler doing your pro wrestling shtick, whether or not you're in the ring or backstage, especially if a camera is on you, because that is kayfabe and you don't break kayfabe, right? You got to keep the illusion up lest you be outed as a fraud within the wrestling community at the very least, if not the greater public consuming the product. So here we go.
Raja, unfazed, not caring, just decides to keep talking to the dudes until Syko Stu decides to take matters into his own hands.
Where's the real McKill at? Where's he at?
You don't need to worry about him. You need to be worried about Syko Stu.
Syko Stu?
What, you don't know me?
Hell no. Yeah.
Hey, I think that's a little.
All right.
Oh, you don't sell it?
This is where things start to go south. Unfortunately, the dude was probably pretty drunk already, didn't know what was going on, and saw the camera and Raja and thought that this was some sort of skit or that Raja was another pro wrestler recording something for the promotion.
Right. So, first of all, shout out to Checkmate. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, so I didn't mention that in the initial video, but you can kind of hear that Stu is a little slurry. So, you know, pro wrestling, loose environment, especially at this level. If you are a Jim Cornette fan, you might be familiar with the term Outlaw Mud Show. This may be a little bit, one level above that, I would say. This is, at the time at least, was a WWE affiliated promotion, so I would think that it's maybe not Outlaw Mud Show specifically. It's not in a backyard with people smacking fluorescent tubes over each other's heads and throwing each other on thumbtacks and that kind of stuff. But it's definitely not a regimented environment in the same way that like AEW is, or like Ring of Honor, I think, is another wrestling promotion, something like that. Like I'm trying to say that, if WWE is at the top, there are levels underneath it. This was more akin to one level below the mid level, I would say. These like smaller regional promotions. Every state has these. Florida, my state, has tons of them. Every major city and some of the smaller cities have things like this. So Stu is, a little bit wavy, but he's in character. He's part of the show. He's thinking that Raja is part of the show. He pops the top. I talked about that on the video where, this is a work hit here, a worked hit, where, you make sure that the can is not, the can is broken, the seal on the can is broken so that the impact is lessened and you get the little bit of the spray off the top. So he's thinking that this is a bit, most definitely. Raja, of course, is not aware of that. When keeping it real goes wrong, this is this is a little bit more than that, and we'll talk about him keeping it real in a few moments here, because that I think is one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this breakdown. We'll get into it. He knows how this side works. Admitted to that the hit didn't hurt later on as well, plus Stu was apologetic. Yeah, we're going to get into all of that. Let's keep going here.
Worst part about it being that this guy took one of these prop cans to Raja's head, not knowing that Raja was already recovering from a concussion that he got in light sparring from a spinning kick just a couple days ago.
Yeah, so big context there. I think I talked a little bit about that. Rampage has mentioned that he had gotten hit in sparring. And, obviously he's a young guy. He's 25 years old. CTE and that kind of thing generally takes a very long time to develop. This is not something that he would have just instantly had. But I do think that there is a little bit of context there, not necessarily from the mental cognitive side of things, but more so from Raja's own interpretation of events, because he just got concussed in sparring. Interesting that they even had footage of that. I thought that was kind of an added little piece in why this video is so well done here. Shout out to Mand. But the fact that he had just taken a shot that wobbled him, concussed him in sparring, and then took another hit, probably agitated him a little bit more than he might have been had it just been the prop can hit. And I appreciate that Mand also said it was a prop can. The reason that you can say it that way is because the top was popped, because he pulls the shot back a little bit. Now, I mean, he did hit him with a decent amount of impact, but trust that he was not following through. There's a way that, like, this is one of the things that they teach you as a pro wrestler. Like, I don't know too much about it, but I've seen a little bit about, like, the behind the scenes. Because for me, when it comes to pro wrestling, the behind the scenes stuff is way more interesting than the on screen in-ring product. I don't really care about the actual theatrics of it. It's all the politics, the backstage, the boots on the ground reality of pro wrestling that fascinates me. That's why I love the Dark Side of the Ring television series so much. But one of the things that they teach you when you're learning how to become a pro wrestler is how to sell the hits and how to deliver the hits, making them look impactful without them actually being as impactful as they appear. So you see in the can hit, we can actually go back to that real quick, just to show. So
To go south. Unfortunately,
boom.
the dude.
You see that he does, there is impact. He comes up and over with the can, but does he follow through farther? If he had really been trying to wreck Raja here, if he had really been trying to, like, hurt him, he would have kept going. He would have kept pushing his weight through the shot. Like, you think about it in MMA. When a person goes for, like, a jab and it makes the impact, like, granted, they're actually trying to inflict damage there, but you can tell the difference between where a jab hits and pushes the head back versus where a hook swipes across the face. That's what I'm trying to say here. Like, he could have taken that can and gone through his face with it. He obviously felt the impact, stopped the forward motion of the can. So, anyway,
Took one of these prop cans to Raja's head,
There
not
it says,
knowing that
Big
Raja was
Boars
already
MMA.
recovering
Oh,
from a
good Lord.
concussion that he
Anakin
got in
with a new
light
name.
sparring from a spinning kick just a couple days ago.
So, shout out to you. You'll always be Anakin to me, brother, even though you keep doing these name changes. But anyway, all right, let's catch back up here. So, yeah, Raja took the hit in sparring, and now we're going to hear what he says here.
No, I didn't go with my pops. How does my head feel? I'm still fucked up. I'm not even gonna lie. It's part of the reason why I didn't stream earlier. I was supposed to stream going to fucking paintballing with AJ, but my head was fucked up. I was throwing up and shit. My dad is. Yeah, I'm fucked up right now, guys. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, I know I need a fucking rest, but yeah, so I'm gonna take a break from it for a while, but you know, my coach, my lifting coach and shit, one of my teammates, Andre, who was on the stream the last time, is having a pro wrestling show, and I told him I will come and support, and then I wanted to bring you guys with me. You know what I'm saying? Get an MRI. I'm gonna go definitely get checked out on Monday though. Yeah, I was throwing up and shit. My head still feels like funny. I'm not even gonna cap.
So, exactly. I mean, I think that lends itself to the point that I was making before we started that little portion there. He's already taken head damage before this. He's still fucked up. I mean, obviously, the hit must have been pretty bad in sparring if he's throwing up. You know, he's still probably dizziness. I mean, there's all kinds of things that come with concussions. To take another hit unexpectedly, even if it was a pulled shot, even if it wasn't full follow through, full force, still something that would have, again, we're not talking CTE level trauma here, but we're talking agitation from a person who is easily agitatable, it seems. And again, somebody who has already experienced life trauma, and we'll talk a little bit later, coming from this video, probably experienced some levels of trauma throughout his upbringing based on who was doing that. little foreshadowing with the Rampage element here. So the dynamics are not great for this guy to be taking any kind of shot to the head, easily on edge for something like that, if it were to happen. Stu, the wrong person, wrong place, wrong time, wrong action. There you go. Do you think Stu hitting the prop beer can is what started it? Sounds strange for a wrestler to hit someone with a can that's a random bystander. Well, that's the whole thing, is that Stu saw the camera and thought that they were all on. That's the whole big element of all of this, is that when you are in pro wrestling, you have to keep the kayfabe up. You have to be in character. And, look, I'm not saying that Stu wasn't in the wrong to a minor extent at this point. He's a little tipsy. He's a little slurry. He doesn't realize that Raja's not part of the show. He sees a camera. He's trying to get a little bit of screen time. Maybe you don't jump in on somebody's live stream, right? I mean, had Raja not done what he did in the ring, Stu would be the only person wrong in this situation. Because it's like, bro, took offense to it, didn't like that you jumped in on his stream. He's not a wrestler. He's not a worker, as they'll say. Stu apologizes thereafter, and it could have just been like, that could have been the other side of the coin had things gone differently. Is that all this would have been is Raja takes the can to the head, lets Stu apologize, accepts the apology, and then Stu looks like the asshole who just hit a rando with a beer can. Not what ends up happening. So yeah, Stu was in the wrong, but he recognizes he was in the wrong after it happens. We'll talk about all that when it comes up here. But again, just a misunderstanding. And yeah, look, people do the wrong thing sometimes not knowing. You know what I mean? Unknowingly doing the wrong thing is, I think, something that most people can empathize with. How many times have you made a joke that didn't land? I'll tell you just a very quick story. There was a time where I was working at a show. Another reason why this is another reason why this is interesting to me is that, like, the behind the scenes element of live entertainment is always fascinating to me because I come from that world in my previous life. But there was a show that I was working at where I was out at a Halloween party with a pair of performers. We were all at a Halloween party and they were there too, kind of thing. I didn't go with them, but they were there. I saw these performers there, and it was two females. I had gone up to them and jokingly had said, "Your costume is the best." I basically said, like, your costume is nothing compared to her costume because her costume's the best. And this girl whose costume that I dissed took this very, very negatively. And I was just like, whoa, wait a second. I mean, it wasn't really like that. First of all, I don't give a fuck about either of your costumes. I was just trying to be jokey with you, but I didn't know her like that. So the joke fell flat. And for the rest of the time that I worked at this show, both of those girls always treated me differently. Always treated me like I was persona non grata after something like that. Off of a joke that didn't land, where I was trying to be friendly in that instance. My point being, sometimes things go sideways. So yeah, was Stu in the wrong to hit Raja with the can? Yes, he was. Absolutely, he was. Was it something that was a misunderstanding? Yes, it was. Would he have been in the wrong at the end of all of this if Raja didn't do what he will eventually end up doing? Yeah, Stu would have been the only asshole here. He would have apologized. Raja would have looked like the bigger man for accepting his apology and then moving on. And then Stu could have just been like, man, that was really dumb of me, Maybe Stu would have put out an Instagram reel after the fact, after he sobers up a little bit, saying, man, that was really shitty of me, man. I'm sorry I did that. Shout out to Raja. And then none of this could have happened. We wouldn't be having to talk about this. And I wouldn't have had to scramble home from a family engagement on Saturday in order to make the video or excuse me, on Sunday in order to get the video out later that evening. But anyway, let's keep going here.
You can then hear Stu ask Raja if he's going to sell it when he has to get reminded by his fellow wrestlers that he is not one of them and is not one of the workers.
He's not a fucking worker, bro. Calm down.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
You're good. You're good. You're good. You're good.
What the fuck was that?
You don't sell it?
Dude,
he's not a fucking
Bro.
worker, bro.
What the fuck was that? Hold on.
So, you know, this video says that it's Stu who says you're not going to sell it, but it doesn't sound like that to me. Because I've heard that a couple of people say that, where like they say, oh, Stu asks him if he's going to sell it. I think that it's the cameraman who's asking if he's going to sell it. But the point is, and I say that to say, the point is that everyone except for Raja realizes that this is a work. You know what I mean? Like, everybody there knows that, like, this random dude, like, Syko Stu is not just going around to random people smashing beer cans into their heads willy-nilly. He saw a camera, thought that it was all part of the show, and included Raja in the show unexpectedly. If the guy who is filming is asking, or even if it's not him, maybe it's another person behind, like closer to the camera, whatever, whoever it is, if there's someone asking if you're going to sell it, the implication there is that it's a sellable act, that it was not done legitimately. It was not done in order to harm or hurt. It was done as a work. It was done as part of the show. So Raja's the only person not understanding that, apparently. And what I said in the video, too, that I think is definitely true, is that when Stu kind of puts his arms around Raja for that second, he's kind of saying, like, bro, we're in this together here. We're doing a bit, right? Obviously not. We will find out, of course. Beeb, what's good, brother? Thank you for checking in. I don't know how much I missed, but my opinion is Raja should absolutely get charged for attempted murder. We'll get into all of that part of it a little bit later, like when I wrap it all up. But yeah. I mean, it's hard to say. It's very hard to say otherwise to that statement, I would say, because you have premeditation and you have intent to do grievous heart. Goddamn, I can't talk today. You have premeditation and you have intent to do grievous bodily harm. Holy shit. My brain is fried. Grievous bodily harm. Trying to say. Typical California. Yeah, we'll talk about that aspect as well. This is all kinds of wild that Raja is apparently in contact with the police, but has not been charged yet with all of this video footage. But let's keep going through this.
Don't play that shit, bro.
Oh, sorry.
No, I will fuck him
We're
up,
good.
bro.
I know you will.
No.
We're good.
I will
Sorry
fuck
about
him
that.
up, bro.
I know you will.
I don't play that shit.
Sorry, bro.
And I love that part too. And I did say that in the video. Yeah, you know, we know you'll fuck him up. Yeah, obviously you'll fuck him up because he's playing around and he's not a fighter. He is not a professional fighter. He is a dude who play fights in a theater camp. You know what I'm saying? Like I say that kind of stuff a lot, and I really don't mean to be like disrespectful to pro wrestlers. I do know that it's dangerous. I do know that it's strenuous. I do know that it's painful. I know that it's people say it's not real. It's real. You know, the pain is real, blah, blah. I know all that stuff. I get it. I get that it hurts. I get that it's, not a walk in the park. But it's predetermined. So to me, that is theater. All this is play fighting in a big stage play, as far as I'm concerned. So when you see Stu sitting there like, what the fuck? And this dude saying, yeah, we know you'd fuck him up. Bro, you are a professional mixed martial artist. You would fuck up every one of these people here. Even with a 1-1 record. Can't find anything about the murder of Raja's mother. Yes, that is something that I think a lot of people are now scrambling with, Didgeridoo Dave. I think a lot of people are very curious about that now because Rampage just tossed that information out there kind of willy-nilly. Like, I mean, like, he just sort of matter-of-factly said that, like, it was a known piece of information. Maybe the woman that he's speaking to knew that information, so it was common knowledge to her. But certainly not common knowledge to the rest of the world, and I think that, like, it definitely adds a big piece of context to Raja's fragility. because I do think that huge part of all of this is Raja being mentally fragile, which in and of itself is kind of a crazy thing, because when you have a mental state the way that Raja has, like the chemical makeup of your brain is misfiring, he really should not be in MMA either. Like, you don't want to have an already compromised mental state and then be taking legitimate head trauma on top of it. The man lost his mother tragically in a murder and is taking blows to the head that are concussing him in training. That's not even inside active competition. That's in the gym. So it would appear to me, and a big reason why I'm doing this stream here now is that it would appear to me that Raja, I say it in the video, but I think it bears repeating, that if there were these little kernels of information, these grains of data strewn throughout the earlier part of his life, it is almost a bigger tragedy that it was not recognized beforehand, so that this could not have happened. But it did. So we'll move on here in a second here. Raja hit an unconscious man like 20-ish times that was totally trying to kill someone. Absolutely. Yeah. Most definitely. I don't think that there are any two ways about that, to be perfectly honest. The other problem is that the wrestler and ref still played along. Well, I think that most people were stun locked at that point. I think most people were not able to mentally process what was happening. That's why when we're going to talk about the brave and courageous hero, another one of the wrestlers in the event who actually pulled Raja off of Stu, shout out to that guy. Like, he's the real hero of this story, because he was the one who recognized what was happening and actually went in to stop it. Imagine if that guy wasn't there. Because that referee wasn't doing shit. I mean, like, that referee was I think that he was frightened, to be perfectly honest. Understandably so. I cannot stress this enough. Pro wrestlers are theater kids. They are well-built theater kids. You know, I mean, yes, a lot of them are tough. A lot of them have tough lives, and a lot of them will, they'll legitimately hurt you. I'm not trying to say they're soft, but they're performers. They're not fighters. It's two different worlds. They're different strains of animal. And again, you're not trying to diss these people by saying that, but I say it to say, in the context of this portion of the conversation, that the referee, we'll get to that point with the referee, but the referee that would be like if I was in there. He's just a little schlubby dude who's not a performer like these guys are performers. He's not built. He's just he's like one of those orbiters of pro wrestling. You know, when you're not actually a wrestler, you're a referee. That's like Jim Cornette again. You know, he's like when you're a manager or a valet, they call it, or whatever. You know, one of the people that escorts the wrestlers to the ring. You're a side character. You're a bit player in the stage play. So to think that that guy was going to interfere with Raja, with that psychopathic animal, never going to happen. So shout out to the wrestler that actually went in there to stop what was going on. Because if not, who knows how many more hits Raja was going to land.
After telling Raja that he didn't know who he was, Stu then gets reprimanded by AJ. AJ gets pretty upset and lets him know that he's just a worker and that he needs to not be on all the time.
I'm good. Apologize for that, man. Fix that. You hear me?
Yeah.
Gracie. Sawadee. Good, dude.
Nah, fuck that, dude.
No, Stu poquito, cámara el pie.
Then the Samoan Unk tells us that Stu does this all the time and constantly mistakes stuff for being a part of the storyline.
Sorry about that, dude.
So I don't know if you could hear that there because it was kind of muffled underneath the stream audio, but they said that Stu does those kinds of things all the time and mistakes people for being a part of the show that aren't. Again, is that right? No, definitely not. And that's something that, I mean, Stu is never going to do ever again. If Stu ever wrestles again, I think it would be very surprising. But yeah, Stu is not correct in doing that. Should not be bringing people into the show that are not part of the show. Backstage, probably also not the right place to be doing that. However, the camera, I think, is a big part of all of that. It's like if there had been no camera there, then maybe all of these guys wouldn't have been in character. Maybe all these guys would have just been talking and chatting and goofing off like regular people. But the camera makes it a performance whether you like it or not when it comes to the pro wrestling world. And Stu obviously takes the kayfabe kind of seriously. So was he right in doing it? No, he was not. It was incorrect of him to do it. Take the blame where the blame is appropriate for that portion of events here. I think that AJ is a big instigator in a lot of this as well, because you have Raja, who is already mentally a little off, talked about a lot of the reasons why that might be, but he's already agitated. He's more agitated now, and now his buddy over here is saying, that was not right. We're going to fix it. Pushing this forward a little bit more. So again, I say, AJ is not to blame for what happened, but he's not completely innocent either. You know, again, the level of blood on the hands might be a couple of drops, but those are still unclean hands as far as your boy is concerned. Can the ref get charges pressed on them as well, like bro didn't save him? Isn't that the job of a ref? Now, when it comes to pro wrestling, bro, that shit goes out the window. There's no job of a referee, and it's a make 'em up. It's a big make 'em up. The referee cannot be charged for anything because the referee is, like I said, a bit player in a stage play. The whole thing goes sideways. He's not, you know, when the illusion is broken and you start bringing the real world into the fake world, all bets are off at that point. There's no authority in that guy. That little dude with a stripy shirt is just another character on stage in the play. So yeah, there's no culpability as far as the referee is concerned. It might have helped though. That I do think is a point that could have, that does play a part. That referee is definitely to blame in the sense that if you are within this world, now, I said I do think that the guy was stun locked. I do think that he was caught off guard by what he was seeing to the point where he could not react. Because imagine that if you were there, just seeing that happen in front of your eyes, like, what the fuck? This is some wild shit. Like, this dude is really going ham bone over here. What do I do? You know, like it's easy from the outside to look in and say like, yeah, I would have jumped right in there and done the right thing. But I do understand why he was kind of like, wow, this is fucked up. I don't know what the hell to do. It might have been at that portion of the show that he was not supposed to be interfering with the wrestlers, whatever. It would have definitely helped if he had gone in a pro wrestling capacity and just called the match off. And I do believe that we're going to see it here. If we don't end up seeing it, one other element that is wild to me is that they end up finishing the match, quote unquote, finishing the match. As in, Syko Stu is flatlined, as everyone's been saying. Syko Stu got flatlined. He's flatlined on the mat, and someone goes over and covers him for a pinfall. What? Like, that's some crazy shit. That even is possibly a part of all of this. But you'll see it maybe. I don't know if it's in this version of the video, but if not, that's some wild shit as well. The ref is the most actor of them all. He's not there to stop the action. He's there to continue the plot. Exactly. There you go. Ohio player spitting facts on that one.
He always think that we're working over here like it's part of the fucking storyline.
There you go, yeah.
What kind of homo-style shit?
Kalia, Rampage. That's how we
No, bro.
Go ahead, Stu. This is all.
After getting rejected twice, Stu realizes that Raja was having no parts of his apology until somebody suggests that Raja can interrupt his match and give him his receipt Then Raja accepts the
I
apology.
appreciate it.
I didn't know.
So there you go.
I get it.
Aha!
We're not working out. Well, he gonna come out on your matches. I know you keep thinking we're working. We're always working.
I get it. Yeah. I get it now. Now you
You know what I'm saying, Oz? We're always working. So we'll set it up. I'll have him come out during your match so we could fucking seal the whole thing and we'll make something out of it. You know what I'm saying? All right.
So there you go. I think that clip right there says everything that you need to know about this situation as far as the setup goes. Stu, I saw the cameras, thought we were working. This dude, we're going to set it up. We're going to get him in the ring. He's going to give you a receipt. We'll make a thing out of it. So now Raja is part of the show. Raja's aware of all of this. Going to go in there. You give him the potato, calls it even. We're always working. This guy says that. Stu also thinking we're always working. Camera's on. We're on. I think that clip right there tells you everything that you need to know about the situation. And Raja shook the man's hand at that point. Feel me? Like, he rejected the apology twice. He's going to get his receipt, shake on it, and then he does what he does. No excuse at that point. Stu was in the wrong until this. This right here. When I saw this was why I was like, I got to do a follow-up. Because they didn't have this, at least what I had seen coming into the video I made. I didn't see this portion here. But this seals the deal as far as the setup of everything. Because when this happened and Raja shook on it, that should have been enough context for anybody seeing any of this to know that Stu knew he was wrong. He apologized for being wrong. Raja was going to be able to get right with him. He was going to get a get back. And Raja could have, again, this all could have been avoided if Raja had just done it the right way. He could have gone in there, legitimately potatoed him, given him one real shot to the face from an MMA fighter. Stu could have still got fucked up off of that. And then that could have still been at all of it. It could have still been over at that point. And none of this would have happened. The worst you would have heard about this, had this gone correctly, is maybe, and this is a big maybe, but I would say at the very, very least little maybe minuscule molecule, you might have heard Rampage Jackson's son punches a pro wrestler. And what do you do with that piece of information? You skip over the headline and keep on scrolling, is what you do. They should have sent Raja home. When? Now, at this point? Maybe. Letting him go in the ring was a major mistake. Raja doesn't know how... See, bro, I understand this, though. Like, I hear what you're saying, that, like, yeah, they should have just, like, gotten him out of there, but no one could have known that he was this level of off. That he was this level of, capable of this level of violence, you know? I mean, like, I don't think anybody could have known that. And, I mean, in theory, at least, he's got a pro wrestler friend. The guy AJ is his friend. So, theoretically, it could be like, yeah, he's not a worker, but he knows enough about... He was naming other pro wrestlers at the event. He's familiar enough with pro wrestling to know other people that do it, and one of his friends is a pro wrestler. He certainly could have gotten in the ring and done it the right way. So, I mean, I don't fault anybody up until this point, except for Stu to a very minor extent for fucking with the wrong person, even if it was coming from the right place. Hydra, what's up, brother? The one wrestler, while for sure not to blame, was really encouraging Raja to get his payback for real and didn't explain, still an attempted... Yeah, okay. So we're going to get to that part 2 here. Let's just keep going.
Now you just involved fucking Rampage himself, cause that's his boy.
No, he can handle it. Hey,
Yeah, I can handle myself. Yeah, I can handle myself.
Rampage gonna come.
So, little interesting note there. I'm gonna back that up real quick, just so because we were kind of talking before. But so, what AJ just said is, oh, now you've involved Rampage's himself because that's his boy, and Raja says, I can handle myself. Again, we're viewing this in context because of the mental state of Raja Jackson. Mother murdered. Father, Rampage Jackson, known to be a jokey jokester and often makes others the butt of the joke. Raja, coming from an upbringing with that as the dynamic, got a little bit of a point to prove here. He doesn't want to be Rampage Jr. He's his own man. I can handle myself. I'm my own man. I'm a fighter too. So AJ's like, oh, this is little Rampage over here. No, I'm my own man. I'm a big, strong man. I'll handle it myself. Again, I call Raja a kid. He's not a kid. He's 25 years old. But mentally, I think he's a child. And I think that he might have some stunted mental development.
Well, now you just involved fucking Rampage himself, cause that's his boy.
no, he can handle it. Hey,
Yeah, I can handle
his
myself.
own
Yeah, I
shit.
can handle myself.
Rampage gonna come whoop your ass.
You don't need his dad. He handle his own shit.
Yeah, I got my own shit.
After setting up the interruption for Raja on Stu's match, AJ comes over and lets him know the game plan and tries to explain what went on with Stu.
I was in the swing.
No.
What he thought was he was a pro.
I just said.
Yeah, another thing is, even when we are working like that, you don't fucking, you know
That's
what I
what I'm
mean?
saying.
But he doesn't
So,
know him like that.
He don't. He's a fucking idiot. Hey. So when you run in on his shit, you fucking give him his receipt. Remember what a receipt is? Give him that fucking receipt. Go tag this shit. If you got a fucking problem with it, I'll fucking run out there.
So there you go. Again, AJ not to blame for what Raja did in totality, but you heard. Go out there and give him his receipt. The Samoan guy is like, you'll go in and get right, maybe thinking, oh, he'll do some wrestling moves on him, turn it into a bit. AJ, give him the receipt. That's the potato. That's the real shot. Turns the receipt into one of those long Walmart or Walgreens receipts, things that go on for a mile. Anyway, bad joke. Rampage did give Raja a tough time when they spoke at home, like Rampage calling him words and stuff that got to Raja's head. Yeah, exactly. We'll hear a little bit of that in this video too, and I'll talk a little bit about that at that point. But for this portion here, you just saw AJ basically telling Raja, go and get the get back. Raja's going to take that and run with it about a country mile.
Tag his shit, bro.
After being given the go-ahead to give this guy his receipt, Raja's on go mode for the rest of the night.
I'll get it there. Hey, as long as I get my lick back, I'm straight.
So at that point, he's saying, I'm going to get my lick back. A single lick is fine, right? I mean, that's the whole thing is that, yeah, it was a wrong thing to do. You go, you give the guy his lick, all good. What's going to happen in this portion of the video, I think, is the bigger detail here. This is getting into what we talked about at the very start of the stream and what Arrogant Savage had brought up in the comment section of my video that I think is very, very telling.
Straight.
This is kind of the turning point in the night as Raja gets time to chill out and kind of think about everything and gets rage baited by all the comments in the stream.
This nigga got knocked out. I didn't even get knocked out. Why didn't you fuck that guy up? Cause nigga, if I would have done something, then they would have kicked me out of this shit. Then there would be no more stream today. That shit pissed me off, bro. It didn't even hurt. It just pissed me off. I know this is crazy.
All right, everybody.
This is like my
How's everybody doing now?
third or
I'll
fourth
give you guys a
stream.
little bit of time to enjoy.
Now, at this point of the night, Raja's dad, Rampage, got informed on what's been going on with his son on his kick stream through the comments.
All right, before we get to Rampage's element here, Yeah, so you're seeing Raja is getting rage baited by his chat. And you heard there too, aside from the rage baity element of it, the fact that he's saying, oh, that didn't even hurt though. It just bothered me, man. Like that kind of stuff. It's a child's mentality. It's childish. That didn't even hurt, you know what I mean? Like it's like when you're like play fighting and stuff and you get hit and it's like, you want to act tough when you're like hurt. That's what I'm seeing here out of him. And the chat is saying, oh, why didn't you go get your get back? This and that. Oh, they would kick me out. But, he's getting affected by the chat. A chat that is conceivably full of trolly young people on Kick who are trying to amp him up, who are trying to agitate him. They're trying to get under his skin, and he's letting it affect him. It's one of like the first rules of live streaming in general. That obviously, I mean, he has no basis in pro wrestling. He also has no basis in live streaming. Rule number 1 of live streaming is don't let the chat get to you. You know what I'm saying? Like once the chat takes over, bro, you have lost. Like you're lost in the sauce at that point. So he's starting to get agitated by the stuff that he's seeing in the chat. This is already after the incident is like well gone. The man saying in the video here that he's had time to cool off, but he's not cooling off. He's getting more and more upset because chat is, riling him up. They're getting under his skin. The more he speaks between the original can hit and the assault, the worse he makes his case. Seems very premeditated. Exactly. Yeah, most definitely. The premeditation is there's no two ways about that. I mean, like, it's insane the amount of premeditation that there is, because apparently the match didn't take place for like a while. I think that there were like other matches going on before his Psycho Stu, that is. So like there was an insane amount of premeditation. There was a full on cool down period, or a period of time that would have been better to be cooling down that he did not use to cool down. He used it to look at his chat, and that was a big mistake. I never have to worry about it because y'all are the best chat in MMA YouTube, MMA live streaming. So I'm good. Chat is life. This chat certainly is, and I appreciate all y'all. Toby, what's up, man? Good to see you. Imagine getting rage baited by a bunch of children enough to commit attempted murder. Yeah, exactly, dude. Exactly. I mean, and it's an unfortunate thing. But again, this is why I wanted to do this stream, is because we're talking about the mental capacity of Raja. And I think that all of these elements play a part. Mother murdered. Father constantly, essentially harassing him. The more that I look into Rampage, and I mean, you don't really have to look very far. I already knew that Rampage was a bit of a dick. From the past, you already kind of know that. He gets away. I talk about that in the video. He gets away with being a dick because he cloaks it in comedy. And that's fine, except sometimes there's collateral damage with that. And this, I would think, is, again, the chicken's coming home to roost to a certain extent. So you got the murdered mother. Rampage is your father. Chat getting under your skin. Already took head trauma. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of this is right. None of this is right what Raja did. I'm just offering a little extra context here for the full impression as to why it might have happened and why it's so unfortunate that no one recognized it before it got to the level it got. How far back has Chief Keef coming on right as the assault began set back the black community? I think that the Chief Keef song probably has been used in equally bad circumstances in the past. So the fact that it cropped up here again, probably not great, but Chief Keef, I think that he's so gangster that he'll be okay. He'll recover. Attempted murder in 4K is very wild. very, very insane. The fact that I think that's a big reason why, and we'll talk about that later as well. I think that's a huge reason why this story has gotten the traction that it's gotten. Is you've got multiple communities that are involved, 2 very large ones and a third that's a little bit smaller. You've got pro wrestling, live streaming, and MMA that all converge in this story. Because this thing has been covered by everybody and their mother. But also the fact that you have an attempted murder that was so blatantly pre-planned and conducted for the entire world to see. I mean, it's so, like, usually if you want, I mean, hopefully none of y'all are, like, seeking that kind of thing out. But if you were ever to come across footage of that type of thing, you would generally be seeing it on 4chan. You know what I'm saying? You'd be seeing stuff like that maybe on, like, the dark web. It's exceedingly rare to see that level of brutality and violence portrayed so front and center. Like, it almost felt like a movie. You know what I mean? It's like, that's real life shit right there, but it's like, you're seeing it captured clearly and definitively. So all of the, like, I call this incident a perfect storm. Pro wrestling, live streaming, MMA, violent crime, all converging in one incident. To the point that Mr. Beast is offering to help cover the medical expenses of Syko Stu. When Mr. Beast is involved in your story has gone beyond the confines of any one community. That's why it was kind of fun. I mean, like, thinking back, you know, not funny, but it's like at least you know, interesting note to an extent. Like, when the news of this started to break in the Discord, I was like, this might be something that I should cover as a story. Like, not knowing, like, all of the details, just like that there was something that happened and it involved an MMA fighter. You know, I covered the Ramon Tavares attempted murder a couple of months ago on the channel. And I was like, you know, that's certainly a harrowing tale. If you don't know about that, go watch the video that I did on that story. But, you know, it's in the MMA community. It was a drive-by. Didn't end up actually dying, of course, thank God. But, you know, not something that would have gone past MMA. This has all of those elements all lining up right there at the nexus point. Very crazy. Makes Dana White's wife slap look like a commercial for some diabetes medication. Perhaps. Yikes. All right, so here's Rampage's element of all of this.
I'm watching my son stream. Where the fuck? Oh, he at the pro wrestling thing. He at a pro wrestling event. Let me call my son.
All right, so listen to Rampage here, because I think that this portion of the footage is indicative of a larger pattern of what I would class as toxic parenting to an extent. Rampage makes other people the butt of the joke. For grown adults, maybe it doesn't make it right, but maybe it makes it a little bit easier to handle. When it's your own father and it's your entire life that you've been dealing with this, maybe it affects you a little bit differently. Maybe it affects the formative mental capacity that you have for disrespect. You're getting hectored. You're getting harassed by your own father in your formative years. Perhaps that's not the greatest way to be raised. Just saying. I mean, you know, and you can, had this not happened, maybe it would be a different story. Had this not happened, maybe I'd be the asshole for saying that. Who are you to tell me how to raise my son? I'll raise my son however I please. Well, perhaps this is what comes out of this type of parenting.
Yeah, you get the pro wrestling, man.
Listen here.
Men in tights and shit.
I've also.
I looked at his stream.
Sorry.
No, it's too loud.
Apologize, right?
Hey,
yo.
Because when I mentioned.
Did you get jumped by a bunch of dudes in tights, nigga?
You said what?
Did you get jumped by a bunch of dudes in tights?
No.
Why didn't you tell me?
No.
You got a problem. Do I need to send my goons over there?
No.
This is crazy. I thought we were a family,
Did your coach take care of everything?
I apologize. So let me put y'all in the right direction.
You straight. I looked at your stream because my chat was going crazy, and then by the time I popped in your stream, you was hugging on a dude in some damn tights.
Man, shut the fuck up.
Man, you shut the fuck up. I looked at your stream, nigga. You was hugging on some dude in some booty shorts.
I wasn't fucking hugging on nobody.
I saw you, nigga. I saw you hugging on your coach.
You have sexual fantasies. You need to stop that shit.
No, I don't got no sexual fantasies, nigga. I got some eyeballs. I saw you
making shit up.
I ain't make nothing up. Okay. Okay, was you not around a bunch of dudes with some damn
fucking pro wrestling show.
Oh, yeah, the pro wrestling show.
He wants to be mama right here. That's my
Nigga, I thought you
mama,
was a motherfucker at a baby oil show, nigga. Everybody was all glistening and shit.
Break the whole thing.
All right, long as you say.
You never know. Y'all keep playing with me and I'll go back to you. So, you know, you never know. Y'all keep playing with me and I'll go back to you. So, you know.
Did it sound like he was entertained on by his chat, and now his own father is calling him, challenging his masculinity? A person who's already obviously quite fragile and possibly had to have dealt with that for a large portion of his life. Again, I'm going a little bit harder on Rampage now than I was before. And I think that this clip really illustrates why. Again, if you're going at grown adults and making them the butt of the joke, maybe they take it easier, perhaps. And now, yes, he's 25 years old now, but throughout his entire life having to deal with that type of essential harassment from his father, I'm just saying, we're talking about context here. That seems to me to be a pretty strong piece of context in all of this. He's taken the hit. Go back through the timeline real quick. One more recap. Mother murdered. He's taken a hit after already being concussed in training. His chat is agitating him. His father has now called him to essentially say that he is out there being, a little soy boy, little, fruit cake with a bunch of men in tights with baby oil involved. Keep it in context. All I'm saying. Question, what organization would take Raja after that? Is Raja's MMA career over? I talked about that in the video a little bit too. I think it would be very... it's going to be a very long time before anybody would want Raja fighting for them, but I could certainly see some regional promotion using it as a selling point in the future, and that's pretty gross. But at least for the foreseeable future, yeah, Raja's probably not fighting for a while. But there's always a chance, man. Goes, does his time in jail, comes back, and then you have the selling point of the crazy guy who nearly killed a pro wrestler coming to you live from Cage Assassins 12. Whatever. There's definitely some MMA orgs that will accept him. He's got clout. Yeah, I mean, there you go. That's kind of what I was just saying. Literally, the reason I cut ties with my father was always verbally and physically too much. To CP's point, stepped in, sick of deadbeats. That's why Dave is my okay. Yeah, exactly. I mean, so there you go. I'm not saying that Rampage is wrong for what happened here. I mean, or not to blame for what happened in the ring. Raja is to blame for what happened in the ring. Just context. Not saying Rampage was as horrible, but he belittled and berated his son his whole life. Bingo. There you go. I had a similar relationship with my father. I didn't try and kill anyone. I coped healthier and became an alcoholic. See, funny joke, but think about the reality of that joke. Some people go crazy and hurt others. Some people turn it inwards and hurt themselves. I know I don't want to be like the biggest downer of all time here. This is certainly a grim subject, and it's not something that I really want to make too light of, and not trying to turn jokes into deeper, heavier subjects than they have to be. But it is a good illustration of that point. This type of stuff affects young people. Kid's 25. I mean, he's a grown man, but he's still young, still formative to an extent, perhaps. And if this had been going on for the entirety of his upbringing, probably a lot of deeper seated issues that stem from this, plus the insane grief and tragedy that comes with a murdered mother.
Over there.
Now y'all got my son mad at me. Are y'all happy now?
Yeah, Rampage, it's your chat's fault. It's your chat's fault that you act the way that you do. It's not like you've been doing that your entire life. It's not like you've been doing that since you were sexually assaulting reporters. It's not like you've been doing that since you were groping women without their consent. You feel me? Just saying. I mean, it's just, this is kind of like this type of behavior from Rampage just bothers me when it comes to that kind of stuff because, again, hiding behind others, deflection, blame everyone else because you're the jokey joke guy and everybody likes you. It's another thing that I wanted to mention here in general is that, like, a lot of people who have been discussing this matter, especially on the MMA side of things, saying, I love Rampage, but, oh, I adore Rampage. Man, Rampage is my favorite. I love Rampage. But this, so it's like, yeah, everybody loves Rampage. I mean, maybe they should look a little deeper. Raja's son, a former UFC champion, Rampage, growing up with millions of dollars. How horrible. I mean, okay. That there is something to be said for that, Beeb. But millions of dollars don't change mental abuse necessarily. Having a big house does not change the dynamics of a verbally abusive father. And I'm not saying that this even necessarily is verbal abuse, but it to me would seem at the very least toxic parenting. I mean, like, because, like, there are other instances of, like, abusive parenting that, like, are well documented and stuff, and those children have very severe mental, like, demons going forward. And they all express them very differently. Here, I guess my point is that I just don't think that you can say, oh, having a big house and nice cars and a big TV makes being parented by someone who's going to be belittling and berating you on a regular basis any better. Sure, it makes life in general a little bit easier, but it doesn't change that specific fact. And when you factor it in with all of the other things that weigh heavily on this guy's mind, it's where you get to.
He straight up dissed me.
For the rest of the night, Raja gets successfully rage baited by every single person in his comments, letting him know that he's a fake crash out, a pussy, a pushover, and just gets disrespected everywhere that he goes.
I'm a fake crash out. All right, bet. You about to see how fake of a crash out I am.
This is where he starts to really get pissed off by the chat. This is where the chat really starts to get into his head. And he's starting to ramp up in his own mind what he's going to do in there, what he's planning on doing.
Now I get a chance to get in the ring and do this and do some shit to him. How many subs to knock him out? That's a good question. I don't know. Fucking can.
Gets a spot in the Wild Samoan
Exactly.
Cup tournament.
Watch. My dad can't never call me a bitch.
Right the fuck there. My dad can never call me a bitch. I mean, it couldn't be more clear. It could not be more clear. When you listen through in context, it is so plain as day. This is as much a culmination of all of those other elements that I mentioned as it is a culmination of his upbringing. Maybe I'm completely off base here, but that's what it seems like to me. Evan Williams, what's going on, brother? There are plenty of people who grew up with rough, screwed up parents, myself included. Not an excuse to almost murder someone because they pissed you off. No, dude, Evan Williams, you're absolutely correct. I've said that multiple times throughout this. Raja is to blame. He, at the end of the day, is responsible for his own actions. I'm just giving context for why it all got to where it got. Millions of dollars absolutely changes all those things. James, you tripping? All right. I mean, fair, brother. Fair if you say so. I don't think it does. I mean, I think that it makes the surrounding elements easier, but it doesn't change how you interpret those things. You got to remember that this is from childhood into adolescence into adulthood. The trappings are just the surroundings. The bond that you have with your parent, that's universal. That should not be affected by those trappings. I mean, it inherently is, but at the core of it, how you are treated, how you respond, those things go deeper than a big house and big cars. I feel like the millions made it worse, always different from the rest of the world, never wanting for anything. Maybe. Living in the shadow of his dad, that, I think, more on the nose. How many subs to knock him out? This is literally trash streaming. That's more to blame than his dad. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, all of these factors, this is why I wanted to do the stream. It's the context here. All of these things playing their role. Piece by piece, you're seeing the puzzle being formed before your eyes. The image is a gruesome one. This part is what got me irked. Getting goaded by the chat and your dad. The thing is, too, for real, I can feel the need to prove himself to his dad, but never that. Maybe that's why this hits home to me. Yeah. You know, proving yourself to chat, proving yourself to your dad, proving yourself to the world, I guess. Well, you certainly proved something.
Straight up. Tell me to fake him. They say I can hit him for real. Exactly. People think this shit's sweet. People think this shit's a fucking game. Straight up, bro.
Rage bait.
I'm just really, like I said, guys, I'm really fucking humble at the end of the day. This nigga ain't no fighter, but I'm gonna really have to show him, like, nigga, you can't just hit a fucking can on my goddamn face. W, if you want to see me, you want to see if I can pick him up. W. It was not a fake can, bro. It was not a fake can. I'm telling you that shit right now. It didn't hurt, but it wasn't a fake can. That was a real ass can. Bet.
After getting cooked by the comments, Raja gets impatient and stands up and asks one of the workers when the guy's coming out so he can interrupt and slam the dude.
I don't know when I'm getting in the ring. I can ask. I'm gonna go ask. Let's go ask. Y'all gonna let me know when I'm getting in the ring? Okay.
Right during the next match, I'm gonna sit right behind you. I'm gonna give you a tap.
All right, bet.
That was the only thing Raja needed to know. Now he knew that he was gonna fuck that dude up once he got that signal, and then that signal finally came.
So, I mean, there you go. Again, we talk about the premeditation of this thing. Premeditation? This is like a full-on strategic planning session that he had before this thing. This is all kinds of premeditated. This is beyond premeditation. I mean, this was an escalation of numerous factors that all culminated in the in-ring. This goes beyond, I mean, like, that's why when people are talking about the attempted murder aspect of this thing, yeah, I mean, it's hard to deny any of that. It's the premeditation and the intent to cause grievous bodily harm. The thing I could not say earlier for some reason. Bro, I can't believe chat made this dude really almost murder someone. Wow, this is insane. Yeah, weak-minded individuals. That's what I'm saying, Beeb. I'm saying this. This is what I'm trying to tell you. It's the weak-mindedness. He's a child. He is a child in his mind. Stunted development. It's a perfect storm of all of it. That's why I'm giving this context. It's the perfect storm of everything. It's a tragic earlier life. Mother murdered. I don't know if you were here in the chat, Beeb, for that one, but at the very start of the stream, I played the clip. I'll play the clip one more time, actually, for anybody who wasn't here. This is from Rampage today.
But this don't got nothing to do with nothing that's going on. But all I'm going to say is that my son hasn't been the same since his mom got murdered. It hasn't, and I know that. And I've been trying to be there for him and make him laugh and cheer him up and everything. But I'm not a psychiatrist. I don't know what the fuck to do. And I know my kids. He hasn't been the same.
That's really all you need to know from that one. So, yeah, there you go. This little bomb that Rampage drops very casually. Raj's mother was murdered. Father, perhaps not the best. We don't have to rehash the Rampage stuff, but mother murdered. Father not the best. Got knocked out in training earlier. Concussed in training. Throwing up. Dizzy. All over the place. Fucked up, he was saying. Gets hit in the head again by a beer can. Context. How much responsibility do you think is on people in chat encouraging him? Okay. I mean, as responsibility, tough to say, because chat is going to be chat regardless. Like, people can say whatever they want in live streams. You can't let, again, it's like I had said earlier, like, rule number one of live streaming is you can't let the chat take you over. You can't let the chat like get in your head like that. I mean, so to an extent, I would say, yeah, they're definitely to blame. But that's what chat is a lot of times, especially on Kick. And especially with these IRL streamers. I mean, I'm sure that you've been hearing about some of these other stories of IRL streamers. There was the guy from France who died on stream recently, like within the same week as this happening. That was a big story. Essentially, homicide by negligence in that case, from what I understand. There was that female streamer who let the lady jump off of the dock, the mentally handicapped lady jump off of the dock and then just left. These IRL streamers are like problems, apparently. So while I would say, yeah, chat is to blame in the strictest sense because they were egging him on and goading him, that's what chat does on these kinds of streams, apparently. Like, I mean, bro, again, at the same time, at the end of the day, the only person who is to blame is Raja Jackson. That's the only person who is to blame. If Raja's chat was in here right now with y'all, it wouldn't make a lick of difference as to how I would conduct myself. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you're a bitch, you're ugly, you're fucking, blah, 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 whatever. Chat has a great way of cutting to the core. You know what I mean? They like, people can find those little ticks and those little things that push people over the edge, push their buttons farther past the brink. But if you get into this game, you have to know that comes with the territory. So, are they to blame? No. At the end of the day, no. Raja is to blame. But contextually, it's them, it's Rampage, it's AJ, it's the murder of his mother, it's all of these things and none of these things at the same time. I'm surprised that Raja has not been arrested or at least questioned by police yet. He has been questioned by police, apparently. Apparently, he has been in contact with the police. Him not being arrested is the Los Angeles Police Department at its finest. Because the fact that they are even investigating still and have not made any arrests in this case is already a miscarriage of justice. Am I surprised? No. I'm an American. Wasn't even concussed. Did you see him get wobbled in sparring? He said he was concussed, though. He said he was throwing up and stuff. So, I mean, if you want to say that he was just wobbled, then okay. But you can be concussed without going out. Like, that's a legit thing. You can get concussed and stay awake. I actually know that from firsthand experience. That happened to me when I played hockey back in the day. I used to play ice hockey. I got knocked. I was a defenseman. Guy was skating back up the ice after a turnover. Checked me really hard. I went down, not dissimilar to the way that Stu goes down when he gets slammed. Guy kind of, like, he sort of trucked me. And my body kind of flopped back and, like, I almost got a little bit of air. I kind of came off my feet and slammed down on the ice, hitting my head. Wearing a helmet, of course, but went down similarly. And, yeah, I essentially was concussed on my feet. Seeing the fuzzy, the spotty vision kind of thing. And ended up getting checked out, and they had said, yeah, I mean, it was probably, I mean, I didn't get like a full-on CT scan. I don't know, like, 100%, but I'm fairly certain that I was, and that is definitely a thing. That's why they tell you that if that happens to you, not to go to sleep, because if you go to sleep, you can go into a coma. So don't think that because he wasn't like knocked out, that he wasn't concussed. If he's having all kinds of dizziness and throwing up and stuff, he probably was legitimately concussed. Chad is 1% responsible, Max. No one is responsible but Raja. If Australia, he would be locked up same day for sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. Yeah. LAPD has more important things to attend to, Got to make sure all of those celebrities are safe out there. A guy from Russia got donations to beat his girlfriend? Yikes. Jesus Christ. Well, there you go. More IRL shenanigans. That IRL streamer on the dock was what made me die on the hill that IRL streaming is brain rot to society. I think a lot of people are coming around to that conclusion. I don't think it has to be, though. I think that's the problem with it, is that people are using IRL streaming in order to be menaces to society. Like, there have to be IRL streamers that, like, do cool stuff. Like, I mean, I would imagine that there are IRL streamers who go on hikes and show you beautiful vistas and gorgeous landscapes, and IRL streamers who take pottery classes and show you, you know, how woodworking is made and stuff. You know, goes to fucking the Disney adults who go out to the theme parks. Like, it's not all this. It's just this is what happens when it's like a bunch of toxic people getting together and unleashing it on the public. Chat feeds the public interactions of these IRL streamers who, in turn, keep the cycle going by acting out. Also, if you want to take one step back and look at it from the bird's eye view that nihilist St. James has, this is where society goes because we all are hatred at our core. We are hate, we are anger, we are pain, we are the dagger. St. James once rapped in a song he made. And that's to say, we are all these things. This is an evolution of society when society is bubbling over at its brim beyond the breaking point, filled with pain, anger, suffering, and hatred. But you don't hear me, though. Shout out to LAPD for the masterful showing of policing. Exactly. Yes. Fantastic police work. We got Columbo on the case. I know, but I mean his reaction to the head kick, 2 stumbles forward, then wanting to keep going, which he didn't. Yeah, but that doesn't mean he's not knocked out. That doesn't mean he's not concussed, though. I got KO'd and concussed when I was in 5th grade on a school camp. Fell from a top bunk onto my head. Yikes, Didgeridave. Damn, dude. The boys in my room thought I was dead. Yo, I am glad that you did not break your neck, my dude. I am glad that you are still with us. Hydra. I show speed while obnoxious went to a pro wrestling event and instead of trying to kill someone, fully participated and got tossed around and speared like a normal streamer would. Yeah, I saw that spear that he took. Man, shout out to I Show Speed for that one, bro, because that was a hard hit that kid took, man. Like, I don't know why that wrestler like hit him with that spear that hard, but god damn, he went down. I Show Speed is a bit of a champ for that one, because that was heavy. I mean, anybody who participates, you know, like, normal is fine. All of this would be fine if it wasn't for what's going to happen here. And I'm taking a while to unpause this video because I've seen this footage so many goddamn times that I really don't want to watch it again. And I think we're probably going to skip over a little bit of it, but we'll see how much gets shown here. A shame that those aren't the streams the algorithm pushes. The algorithm is certainly to blame for some of this. Yeah. The algorithm's feeding into the negativity of society is certainly not something that's lost on this conversation. Release the album, St. James. Hey, talk to A-Tune. Talk to A-Tune. Somebody clip this. Somebody clip that right there. Send it to me. I'll send it over to Tune. Trust that I would love to release the album. The album is like 80% done, too. That's the saddest part. All right, let's keep going. All right, there's the tap.
Raja then starts to pull everything out of his pocket one by one and hand it over to his trainer. And I think at this point, there was no getting Raja back. He was dead set on what he was going to go in there and do.
He's talking. You want to talk about premeditation? You want to talk about premeditation? This dude, you know when you see in street fights when people start taking off their chains? Chicks taking off their earrings? That's what he's doing right here. Bro is emptying his pockets. Premeditation. Is it the algorithm? All it's doing is pushing what people interact with more. Just happens the easiest way to get views and comments is to upset people. Yeah, they feed each other. They certainly do. Yeah, no, you're right. You are right. We are a mirror of ourselves. We are a mirror of ourselves. I don't want to keep bringing it back to my record, because that certainly was not what any of this was about. But a lot of what I rap about is that we are mirrors. We are reflections of what we put out into this world. When the president was reelected, I said, America gets what America wants. We are reflections.
While Roger gets ready to interrupt the match, the cameraman's getting different angles and even getting a little bit excited for the fight himself.
Cameraman's hyped up. Cameraman's ready.
Oh, let's do this.
I can't really read what they're saying right here, but I know that the guy behind him is the one that gave him the signal to go ahead and interrupt the match.
Just want to point out these three people right here. Can you see my cursor? Yeah, you can. These three people right here catching the most upfront and center vantage point of the brutality that's going to take place is pretty wild. Like, I don't know if this guy right here knows Raja or if he just happens to be sitting next to him. But this guy right here and this kid, how old do you think that this kid is? Maybe 16, 17, maybe 20 at the youngest, I would say. This looks like a kid. And then this lady over here, you know, old, not old, but, you know, older. These people are about to see a show that I don't think anybody could have anticipated in a million years. Hey, stop.
I'm so sorry. No, stop it.
Takes off his chain. What did I say about taking off the chain? All right, and this is about the point where you know what happens. I'm going to skip ahead of this. I don't know about TOS. That was actually another little minor interesting point about this that I did want to bring up, is that I was very worried about TOS because I've had such problems with the algorithm in the past. For some reason, everybody hates Yama. Every platform hates Yama. I've been permabanned from Twitch twice, kicked off of TikTok, essentially shadow banned on Facebook. Everybody's had a problem with Yama in the past. So I know about that element of things, TOS and the like. But it's very interesting to me that everybody who's been commenting on this video has shown the unedited video. So apparently this attempted murder is just okay to talk about and show because everybody's doing it. But we ain't doing that here, so let's skip ahead here a little bit. Think by about here is where it's done. Chael brought up in his video that if Stu comes out and says it was a planned bit gone wrong, then all the charges would drop. Do you think there's any way he would do it? No. I don't think so, because it wasn't a planned bit that went wrong. That's what I had said when I was responding in my video about what Rampage's statement said, where Rampage was like, it was a bit that went wrong. I'm like, no, it was not a bit that went wrong. I thought at the time that it was a bit that went wrong, but like I was like saying that it's like, no, it wasn't a bit that went wrong. It was a bit that was hijacked and diverted and derailed by Raja Jackson. So no, I don't think that Syko Stu would do that. I think that the severity of what happened, it would be very I don't think that even if Syko Stu did say something like that, I think that with A, the severity of the beating, and B, the amount of eyes that are on this case, I don't think that, like, this is one of those things where I don't think that you could not charge Raja. Like, even if Stu tried to say, oh, I don't want to press charges, like, this goes beyond him being in control of that, would be my estimation anyway. Because when you get into attempted murder territory, I don't think that you get to, like, dictate whether or not charges are brought at that point. So am I making sense with that? I think that I think the district attorney decides if they're going to charge you or not at that point. Like, the facts are the facts. You are in the situation now one way or another, whether you want to press charges or not. We feel it is an egregious enough event, an egregious enough transgression that charges are going to be brought one way or another, is what I think is the case. I might be wrong about that, but that would be my suspicion anyway. Seems like the organization itself was trying to silence the wrestlers to push for that outcome. We will talk about that in a minute. I have another video to show a little bit later on here. Yeah, we've all seen it at this point anyway. Yeah, we're not watching it again, thankfully. Trying to silence them because Syko Stu could break them and sue their ass. Well, perhaps we'll get into it. All right, so this is all, of course, the end. And this guy right here, who he's tussling with right now, that's the dude who's like the hero of this whole thing. 'Cause that's the guy that stopped everything when this was going down. Also wanted to give this guy some credit. You know, good pair of overhooks there. Raja, not going for the toss. Question his MMA training a little bit. Just saying. And of course, there's this guy dressed up like one of the baseball furies from the Warriors, which, A, very dope. B, interesting gimmick in wrestling, I suppose. This guy is going to be the one who will come out later on outside and kind of be kind of jawing at Raja as he's trying to leave. And yeah, I mean, you see Stu just done. Stu is gone. They were saying that Stu at this point was choking on his teeth and blood. Yikes.
For the rest of the video, you can't really hear anything. The audio is pretty messed up. I don't know what happened to the camera, but it happened to stay that way. Basically, point of it is Raja he basically gets jumped right here. He got bit a couple times. He gets walked out of the place, and they follow him out.
So yeah, I mean, we're going to see him like continuing to walk out here, but it is just crazy to me that like that all happens and then he's just escorted out of the building. Kind of wild. The guy who pinned Stu after to preserve the show is so autistic, it's crazy. Yeah, mind-boggling. Mind-boggling that at that point you would still be trying to keep up the illusion. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I think the referee and that dude, it's like, guys, yeah, snap out of it, people. Come on. That guy single-handedly saved his life. Facts, Toby, facts. Hey, OC Dave P, what's going on, brother? Been lurking for a bit. Just wanted to say hi, friends. Hope you're all having a good night. Yeah, I mean, tough subject matter, but we're doing well. Appreciate you, bro. I'll probably see you a little later tonight if you're around.
Raja makes it outside of the venue, and as you can see, kind of behind him, I want you to pay attention to this dude in the blue. He follows him, he makes some threats to him. He's basically trying to get him to come back. I think what he was trying to do is distract him long enough for the police to come, because I know that they had called the police immediately after that he attacked him. So I'm guessing he was going to try and fight him or stall him long enough to keep him there, or I don't know. Point of it is he was trying to rage bait Raja into fighting somebody else.
Yeah, interesting note that the police are called at that point, and this guy, also to an extent, I mean, definitely different circumstances and dynamics, obviously, but if that guy was trying to keep him there in order to have him stay around long enough for the police to arrive, also a pretty courageous act, I would say, because you now have an attempted murderer on the streets. As far as we have just seen and, would have seen or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Who knows what Raja could have done after this? That's, again, one of the wild things about him just walking out of the building like that. This guy nearly murdered someone inside that building and is now just roaming the streets? What if Raja had gone into a restaurant and just decided that the clerk was looking at him the wrong way? Like, what if the switch had been flipped at this point? So shout out to the dude in the Baseball Furies outfit, because I think that there is a relative amount of courage that it takes to even be doing what he's doing here. Trying to keep this guy around in order for him to A, not hurt anybody else, and B, get taken out of general population and answer for what he just did. Imagine how big this would have been if he legit murdered a man live on Kick after being taunted into it by chat. Thank God that's not the case, but yeah, the fact, could you, I don't even want to think about that, to be perfectly honest. As much, obviously this is yelling about mixed martial arts. I am a huge fan of MMA. You know that, and we all know that. I am not a fan of this type of violence. I don't watch like back when World Star Hip Hop was a big thing, World Star, that kind of shit. I never liked those fights either. I don't like savage, like that type of brutality. It's gross to me. So the idea of watching someone get murdered in that manner is just something that is just like, it sends a chill up your spine kind of thing to me. Manipulated by preteens into killing a man. Can you imagine? With how insane Raja acted, their reactions and how they treated him was so disproportionate. It was crazy. Yeah, Hydra making very good points there. If someone accidentally bumped him walking down the street, something so simple. Savage, you're hitting the nail on the head with that. Exactly. It's almost, counterintuitive, because the fact that the cameraman is filming all this craziness, but it was almost lucky to an extent that the cameraman was there, because the cameraman is the one, we'll see it here in a second. The cameraman's the guy saying, Raja, just keep walking away. Just we're already leaving. Let's go, We like MMA because it's high-level athletes performing art for us, not an unhinged individual trying to kill a PTSD suffering veteran. Hydra, again, with the bangers. That's bars right there, brother. World Star Hip Hop was the shit back in the day. I know a lot of people like that kind of stuff, man. I like the music videos. I also read Playboy for the articles.
Tired of motherfuckers playing with me, bro. Real shit. One of them a bitch and fucking bit me. I'm tired of everybody fucking playing with me and shit. Think I'm always playing and shit. Call me bitch and shit. Not no fucking bitch, bro. At the end of the day, I'ma stand up for my fucking self, because I'm tired of everybody fucking playing with me, bro. Real shit.
So, yeah, that was the clip where I was like, no one was doing that. But they were. It was in the chat. It was the chat that was doing that. It was Rampage that was doing that. Context. And this is where the painted up guy is going to start jawing at him here.
Come on, man. We're leaving, man. We're walking away, bro. Let's not take it serious. Let's go. Come on, Roger. Let's go. Let's go, Roger. Let's go. Roger, let's go. Roger, I'm telling you, let's go. Guy. You listen to me. Listen to me, Roger. You need to listen to me right now, Roger. Let's go.
I don't give a fuck. You guys trying to jump me and shit?
Let's go.
You ain't gonna do shit to me, bro.
Let's go, Roger.
You can't do shit to me. You can't fuck with me, bro.
Let's go.
You can't fuck with me.
Come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, you topple.
There you go. Shout out to that guy. Because, just distracting him, trying to keep him around a little bit. Shout out to the LAPD for that speedy response. Huh? Granted, LA is a big city. I understand that. But attempted murder, active situation, potential madman on the loose. I didn't hear no sirens. Being mad about Being mad about being bit while Stu is still unconscious, choking on his teeth. I know. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. He thinks he's so tough after performing one of the most cowardly things I've ever seen. Yeah. It's the response to the agitation. That's what it is. It's okay, he's a child in his mind. So I'm trying to say, this dude is stunted, mentally stunted. He's responding to stimuli the way a child would respond to it. I'm not a boy. I'm a big, strong man. I'll show you how tough I am. That type of thing. And of course, this is the clip. I'm sure everybody's seen this at this point of Rampage responding to it. So, I mean, Rampage, having already called him earlier that evening, responding to it here. And of course, you know, the infamous, is he going to get banned? Gotta love that. All right, we don't need to see the, you know. I don't know if this is the one. I don't know if this is the one, like this version of the clip has it where he's asking about the hardcore matches. I think it is, though. So, you know, he's going to be like, is it hardcore wrestling? Was it hardcore? It doesn't matter if it was hardcore wrestling or not. They don't do that in hardcore wrestling. They don't do that in outlaw mud shows. They smash fluorescent tubing over each other's heads and choke slam each other into flaming tables. They don't beat each other to the point of choking on teeth. Dear God. I learned not to sucker punch people when I was about 10, let alone assault them. Sneako's face. Yeah, you're fucked. Yeah, it's true. That actually is a good point about Sneako. The way he reacts to it is like, I don't know a lot about Sneako. I know a little bit. I don't really like, I don't like him too much from what I do know about him, but like in this instance, I think he did handle this the only way that like anybody could handle this. You know what I mean? Like he just like sat back like, I am just going to shut my mouth and I'm going to go this way. He pulled the Homer Simpson into the bushes. Never seen something positive happen with Sneako on screen. You know, the only other time that Sneako has come up on this channel specifically was on the video I did about grooming in MMA when Sneako was in the sauna with Movsar Evloev talking about how Movsar has an underage wife. I mean, she's probably not underage anymore, but talking about how he basically groomed his wife, took her as a child bride, and how younger women are easier to control. Never let that slip out of your mind. Number 4 in the world, or whatever he's ranked at right now, Movsar Evloev, a PDF file. Syko. Yep, I'm just gonna go back to my phone. Was it bad, chat? Was it bad?
Roger might go to jail. He might get banned off Kick, too.
He might go to jail and he might get banned off of Kick. The two most important things. The two most important things to be concerned about in this moment. Jail time for Raja and being banned off the Kick. Syko Stu, distant third. You're correct for not liking him and should continue not to know much. Yeah. I got the impression that was probably the better way to be. Sneako versus Strickland 2 must happen. Yes, there you go. That's another thing I do know about him. That's what I said in the video about this. I was like, why Sneako just pops up in MMA circles so much? I have no idea. What is is he just a fan? Is that what it is? Like, I guess he just is an MMA fan? I mean, you know, I can't really hate on that. You know, I'm a fan too, obviously, but it's just weird. Like, he's like what isn't he like a red pill guy? He's like one of those like manosphere kind of guys. He's like a Tate brother guy or something, right? So like what? I mean, I don't know. I guess with the machismo and the testosterone of MMA, I guess there's crossover perhaps. I don't know. Syko is disgusting. I've heard him say worse, unfortunately. I mean, honestly, in this specific instance, he really didn't do anything wrong, Syko. Like, Sneako's not, you know, he somehow Syko got away from this unscathed. He just happened to be there, but whatever. Asking chat is already borderline annoying by itself, but about this situation is almost dystopian. Yeah, we live in a hellscape, Hydra. So I say, you know, I just got to laugh about it. You know, it's like, it's morbid laughter. It's gallows humor, but it really, I mean, you know, we are living in just a bizarro world. All run by mother algorithm into the AI future. Yeah, we're living in Black Mirror. The mirror that we look into is indeed black. Him and Aiden Ross, yeah, I know Aiden Ross, both trying to get into MMA and boxing. Aiden ran a boxing show and commented on it recently. Commentated? What would... okay. All right. You know, look, he probably has more boxing experience than I do, so I can't really hate on it. Whatever. All I know is that Syko is like a manosphere guy, and Aiden Ross has the IQ of a phone book, from what I understand. Rampage said he wants to meet Stu and shake his hand and apologize. I did hear that. Yeah, I mean, I was going to talk about it at the very end. But yeah, Rampage has, like, said the right things after the fact. And in the like, I don't even want to get on Rampage's case too badly about this here, because he's also processing all of this in real time. And it's kind of unfortunate for him that he is on stream for it, because it's like, yeah, you know, you're getting like his, like, string of events reaction to everything, but still, you know, it is what it is.
But that's not like it's all like it's like
That was bad. I hope it was staged. I hope it's staged, because sometimes people do hardcore. Some people do hardcore pro wrestling. Chat.
Was it hardcore? It was certainly hardcore. Yeah, I would say so. I would say that was almost, if we're talking hardcore versus softcore, it was certainly on the harder side. It's almost snuff film territory.
Hello?
So I didn't realize this at the time, but I guess AJ is who he's on the phone with here. So this is the same AJ that you saw earlier who was goading him or whatever. And AJ is saying, I thought you were going to double leg him. Nope.
Shit pissed me off though, Andre.
I understand that, but now they can't wake the nigga up. He's fucking in the ring, fucking flatline, bro.
My bad.
You didn't have to do all that shit. I understand y'all had heat.
Always going to be the most quoted line of this whole thing, just the my bad. Hey, good Lord. We really do live in a crazy, crazy world. This was on a Mexican news channel. Yeah, this story has gone way, way beyond the confines of any one group or community. This story has like taken the world by storm. I mean, like, you know, Moist Critical is talking about it. Fucking, you know, being on the YouTube side of things, like I do watch a couple of commentary channels. Moist Critical, Philion, fucking, like, I think even like who are these podcasts even talked about it at some point? Like, I mean, it's just like random. Everybody is talking about it, I guess is my point. Like Mr. Beast saying that he's going to cover the medical bills of Syko Stu. Like, I mean, this has gone way, way outside of MMA. I mean, like, Bloomis was saying that it made Danish news in Denmark. So, yeah, this is captivating the world here. Was definitely not trying to compliment him, get them both out of the sports. Yeah, right. I mean, bro, both sports are so tainted by this shit at this point. Influencer boxing, fucking the pro wrestling style MMA fighters. It's there's no purity in any of it anymore. Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Come on. Rampage was in deep in the denial stage for that clip. Yeah. I mean, I think he was just like hoping. I think he was just, it was like in that like stages of grief where it's like you're pleading with the universe for it not to be true. That's what I think that was. Rampage is 50, right? IRL streaming in a club worrying almost more about kick sponsorship is beyond cringe and disgusting. Yeah. I mean, look, I get it though. I get that part of it. Everybody needs to make the buck, man. Everybody needs to make a living. Rampage, not a fighter anymore. What's he even doing for money nowadays? You know what I mean? The Jackson podcast. Is that enough? Is that paying the bills? I mean, everybody's got to get their nut somehow. So I get that part of it from that perspective. But you would think that humanity would reign, would win over in that situation, but obviously not. Yeah, my bad indeed. His closing statement in court should also be my bad. I'm sure the judge and jury will understand. Yes, Hydra, I said that in my video. I'm like, my bad. Yeah, tell it to the judge. That my bad should be an audio clip on the soundboard. Oh, God, should I? Should we really? Yikes. Well, speaking of which, Beeb, I don't know if you heard on a little good piece of news. We did hear that Vitz King got some good news about his scheduling situation. So me and the Vitz King should be reuniting very soon for streams. So hopefully sooner than later. Should be enough with all the shitty sponsors they've got on there. Yeah, maybe. But definitely something to worry about, The money, bro, cash rules everything around me was the same when Wu-Tang said it in the 90s as it is now, as it was when money was invented.
I'll call you back later.
Let's go. Ready? Get in the car. Let's go.
As you can tell by the heavy breathing and the pacing around, Raja did not want to hear that guy is not awake and flatlined, probably thinking that he killed him and facing a lot more jail time than what he's already facing, attacking him. Thankfully, from Rampage Jackson, Raja's dad, we know that Syko Stu is awake and stable, and that he does not condone any of Raja's actions, that he suffered a concussion recently and probably shouldn't have even done anything that involves physical contact. I just want to know what you guys think.
All right, so I mean that's pretty much the video. Again, shout out to Mand, M-A-N-D, because that was, I think, one of the best presentations of this incident to give you the full context of everything that happened. So we will switch over. Well, actually, before we do that, I did want to briefly show this. Syko Stu, he's conscious, he's awake. Mentioned that at the end of the Mand video there. So thank God for that, coming back. His GoFundMe has raised over $100,000. So he's going to be well taken care of as far as all of his recovery goes and all that kind of stuff. So there is, I guess, some little sliver of a silver lining, perhaps. But this never should have happened in the first place, of course. So I'll catch up with chat in just a second. We're going to watch this video here next. This is by ITP MMA Live, my favorite current events YouTube channel when it comes to MMA. Shout out to ITP always, because this dude, he has such a way of presenting information in a succinct and rational manner, generally. I mean, there's sometimes I don't agree with his takes, but I think on the whole, he has really good takes mostly, and his presentation is second to none. I really, as far as current event stuff goes, ITP is one of the better ones for sure. Well, Bear says he's both a business partner in the jewelry and podcast aspect. Okay, I didn't realize he was in the jewelry part. That's cool. Maybe he gets a little kickback on that. So I think Rampage should be good without IRL streaming, but get that bag, can't hate. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, always more money to be made, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, I guess what I was trying to say is that I'm not surprised ever by anyone worried about preserving their self-interest. You know what I mean? There's a level of self-preservation that you always have to maintain. Looking out for number one, you know, looking out for numero uno. It just is what it is, you know. There's a level of that. And again, Rampage was processing it in real time, so it's just unfortunate that it was on camera for the entire world to see, but that comes with the territory too. So you get what you get out of being an IRL streamer and having a camera in your face at all times, you know? You're going to catch the good and the bad. ITP, the GOAT for breaking MMA news, especially with the rest of the AI slop channels we get for MMA news. Yeah, facts. ITP is top 5. Yeah, absolutely is. Yeah, shout out to ITP, most definitely. Got to see if I can get him on the show sometime. That'd be cool. Talk to him about MMA. But all right, let's hear what he has to say. So all of what we saw in the manned video was from the night of the incident, and then leading into the next morning. Leading into the next morning of Rampage responding. This video here is from the next day, and we're gonna see a little bit of the cultural impact of this incident and also how Nox X Pro, the promotion, is handling things.
But the most disgusting thing is that people at this school are being encouraged to not cooperate with the police. From what I hear, the police were there investigating the scene shortly after Stu was removed, and there has been multiple requests that have gone downstream from upper management to not talk with the police directly if they are contacted, and to only let a certain group of individuals interact with the police. That is extremely dishonest. You guys let your friend almost die, and now you're trying to have people lie for you. And f you to every single person who replied to them, yes, sir.
All right, so I really wasn't planning on making another video.
I mean, yeah, so we'll you know, he does his little, that's a cold open, basically. We'll pause it at the point to show those text messages, because he'll show them on screen. But the sentiment is definitely true, and probably criminal. The fact that the wrestling school, the Nox X Pro, is trying to tell the other wrestlers to not interact with the police, that is obstruction of justice, if I'm not mistaken. That's interfering with a police investigation. So the Nox X Pro guys really not doing themselves any favors by trying to tamper with witnesses here. I think Lucas Tracy did a good job. Not as good as Mark Henry and Uncle Chael, though. I don't know if the Mark Henry response is in here. Mark Henry had one of the dumber takes, saying that Syko Stu basically deserved it for the hit. Uncle Chael also in that same boat. Well, Uncle Chael's response definitely isn't here. We will talk about that. The Twitch keeps going down. Surprise, surprise. Fuck else is new? I mean, I don't know why the Twitch would be going down. I haven't shown any of the footage, but whatever. Again, what a surprise. The 4 men on the couch are true friends of Stu. Everyone in that chat saying yes, sir, might be the cringiest thing I've ever seen. Yeah, that is, that's beyond cringe. That's sad. Like, that level of obedience for what? I mean, like, that was almost like cultish to me. Just seeing yes, sir, in the chat. We'll get into it in a minute here, but yeah, pretty crazy. Fake fighters following some stupid moral code about no snitching when they watched their friend almost die. That's crazy. Yeah, that's wild.
about the Raja Jackson situation so soon, but some of the guys from the wrestling promotion KnockX Pro have revealed that these scumbags are trying to cover up the beating. This is so disgusting, I don't even know where to start. I would also like to talk about how widespread this story has become, not just in the MMA world. Like, I knew that this was going to be a big story in MMA, but the amount of mainstream news publications as well as big-time YouTubers that this has gained the attention of is kind of blowing my mind. I will also say that even though it seems like most rational people are in agreement that this was a senseless act of brutality, I am flabbergasted at some of the unbelievably dumb takes that I've seen from well-known figures in MMA, and yeah, this is going to be a crazy video, so sit tight. Let's start off with the updates. First and foremost, it has been confirmed by those close to him that Syko Stu is in fact awake, but is going to have a very long road to recovery, and I wish him the absolute best.
So yeah, there you go. Syko Stu is okay. We saw the picture there before. Obviously, that's great. We're really happy that that's the case. Him having a long road to recovery does not surprise me in the slightest. I would think that the dental work alone is going to be many, many thousands of dollars. The amount of teeth that he lost is probably, I mean, like, the, having to reinstall his teeth or put new teeth in, pretty crazy. Probably lost a good amount of them. Going to come out the other side of this thing looking like Yanni the Greek. If you know, you know. The badass who saved the day looked like he's in need of a severe hug. Yeah, for real, dude. I mean, probably still reeling himself. I mean, imagine that part of this thing here. Try to put yourself in that position. Having to watch someone that you're friends with go through that. Couldn't imagine that. You know? The worst. Jesus Christ. And really, I mean, if you think about it from that perspective, it's kind of amazing too that he showed as much restraint as he did in the way that he handled it. Because I know that if I ever saw something like that happening to Vitz, happening to Chase, I don't know if I would have been as subdued or as attempting to subdue as opposed to attacking as this gentleman is. You know, my instinct would be to go out there and try to throw hands. I would suspect in that circumstance. This guy was trying to restrain, was trying to subdue the threat. So I give this guy all the credit in the world for handling it the way that he did. Because if I was watching one of my best friends or a close friend of mine getting brutalized like that, I would have probably been trying to get a couple shots in, you know? So shout out to him. I think it was Philion that I mentioned Philion earlier. Shout out to Philion. He's awesome. But Philion said something that I thought was very wise. He said that the greatest strength that a person can have is not reacting. Being able to control your temper. Being able to not throw the punch when the urge is overwhelmingly strong to do so. This is Marcus Aurelius type thinking here, stoicism. Being in control of oneself is in and of itself the greatest strength. And I think that this gentleman here showed a lot of amazing restraint. It does not take a strong man to throw a punch. It takes a strong man to not throw one. This whole situation only further worsens my opinion of the pro wrestling scene. I wouldn't necessarily like put the entire pro wrestling scene on notice because of this, but I certainly there are plenty of seedy elements in pro wrestling. Trust that that's the truth. I don't know if you've watched the Dark Side of the Ring television series, but I sure have. That's what I was saying earlier. I was like, I like pro wrestling only in the behind the scenes stuff I find interesting. The in-ring performance I really don't care much about. I left that interest back in my childhood days. But I find wrestling as a culture very fascinating because it is so insulated and often so nefarious. Being Canadian, the idea of waking up from something like that and having to worry about paying for your recovery is wild. Yeah, well, congratulations on your amazing health care up there. RIP to your freedom of speech, however. Chief Keef playing in the background is wild. Yeah, that is definitely a one of the morbidly funny aspects of this, the whole thing. I think actually the crazier part of that, it's not even that Chief Keef was playing in the background. It was that Chief Keef was playing in the background until everybody realized what was happening, and then they cut the music off. And then all you heard was the brutality, you know? And the microphone getting messed up. Like, really, I mean, if this wasn't for the fact that it was an attempted murder, it would almost be cinematic. It would almost be like watching a movie. Just all of the elements are like almost like classical work of art in a weird way, you know? Sickening to think, but oddly poetic in a dark way. He wanted to mitigate, not escalate. Yes, exactly. Mitigate, not escalate. Correct. The difference in emotional and physical control compared to Raja in that ring is so stark. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that's why this guy really is a hero. The more dangerous you become, the more kind and controlled you must become. Yeah, absolutely. That's why the best mixed martial artists are ones that don't street fight, ones that de-escalate. In fact, I wasn't going to bring this up, but you just reminded me. One of the Gracies, this is a number of years ago now, I believe, but one of the Gracies he was trying to sell a TV show. He was trying to sell a reality show about BJJ. And the whole concept of the show was to help rehabilitate violent people through mixed martial arts so that they felt confident enough in their ability to defend themselves that they would not escalate violence when violence approached them. Very fascinating concept for a TV show. Did not get picked up, but I didn't dislike the idea of it for exactly what we're talking about here. I thought it was an interesting premise. Teaching BJJ tactics and maneuvers in order to not have things escalate to the point of something like, not necessarily like this, but, it's something beyond what generally is the gentle art, BJJ, make them tap. So it's an interesting note there. But yeah, I mean, the self-control aspect of it is what makes you a great mixed martial artist. In fact, that's the whole thing about like the samurai code, right? Or like the, not the samurai code, but like, in like mixed or in like kung fu movies, the whole idea of like, you can't be a true master if you use martial arts for evil. Like that's part of the karate code kind of thing. Dark Side of the Ring is a very good show. I highly recommend. Yeah, I mean, it's also very tough to watch, but I do quite enjoy it. Find it very interesting. The ambulance ride to the ER alone was probably $3 to $5K. Brother. Good Lord. There was one time I had to take an ambulance ride myself. I rode from a location to the hospital that was a distance about, I think, 0.8 miles. The bill was $1,100. Less than a mile. I'll take the freedom of speech. Same. I say that until I'm 50 and need all the health care in the world. I actually went through some pretty traumatic health stuff recently. I take freedom of speech very seriously. I still would prefer the freedom of speech over that. But to each their own. And that's the reason why I like freedom of speech so much, is to each their own. Training gives you the confidence in your abilities that you don't have to escalate, but also makes you realize how easily you can get fucked up too. Yeah, I mean, right, exactly. You should. Yeah, I mean, I think that that's a good point of all of this as well, is that, you know, part of recognizing what you are doing to others by taking that type of pain yourself is important, you know? That's why Raja is really breaking the code here. As I said, the behavior is unbecoming of a mixed martial artist.
Mallow, who is the wrestler that intervened the most, to have a very long road to recovery, and I wish him the absolute best. Douglas Mallow, who is the wrestler that intervened the most during the attack, shed some light on the severity of Stu's injuries.
How bad?
Yeah, so Douglas Mallow is the name of this guy. And, yeah, true hero. And the way he acts in this clip is kind of unsettling. And I don't know, I guess maybe that's just his personality, or maybe he's still traumatized by the event or whatever, but kind of a scary guy in his own right. So I'll let him talk here.
Matter his injuries.
Broken facial bones is from what I'm hearing. Missing teeth. Has no recollection of what happened. Incoherent. And then even from the people closest to it now that I'm disassociating with, they won't even put up the full story. Stu's pretty fucked up. I'll put it this way. What happened yesterday is he choked on his own blood.
On his own teeth, I heard.
Yeah, teeth and blood.
And he lost all of his teeth? Right.
A lot of them, yeah. Broken facial bones. He was out on the slam, and then the guy had made contact multiple times. I remember seeing that, kind of being in shock, and then I just went. Outside of that, running in, there was other people that could have got involved that I made eye contact with, but they just stayed by the stage. Let me put it this way. I'm sorry to Stu that the people that said that they were your friends let this happen.
I really think that Mallow deserves a lot of praise for likely saving Stu's life, or at the very least preventing even more serious injuries than he already suffered. The guy's a hero.
Yeah, he certainly is. Exactly. 100%. Absolute hero. Yeah, Douglas Mallow is the man to praise in this situation for sure. What a legend. I got pissed paying $8 for hospital parking last time I was there. I guess I'll adjust my standards. Yeah. Oh, you can rub it in all you want, brother. That is your right. That is your right to do so. When I was 17, I took an ambulance from my home to the hospital 2.2 miles, and it cost my mom a little over $2,000. Yeah, exactly. See? 0.8 for me and 2.2 for you. It's all that mileage. They charge you by the millimeter. What I believe is the case. You all good now, though, bro? Oh, yeah. You all good now, bro? Hope your health is getting in order. We need to. Oh, yeah. No, I'm good. I'm great, man. I am. By the grace of a God I don't necessarily believe in, but no, whether God or the universe or whatever, I am truly blessed, and I'm great. So thank you for your concern, but yeah, I am all good now. I'm very, 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 very lucky for that. Douglas really needs more recognition. Haven't heard his name enough. You're hearing it right here, right now. Shout out to Douglas Mallow, for sure. Absolute legend, absolute hero. Deserves all the praise. I hope that he gets something out of the whole thing. I mean, obviously he didn't do it for, as Xavier Renegade Angel would say, he did not do it for the accolades, but he certainly deserves them one way or another. I think he's traumatized and furious recounting it and thinking about how the organization reacted. Yeah, well, we'll get into that here in just a second.
Speaking of Douglas Mallow, it's being reported that he's calling for the prosecution of not just Raja, but also Andre Hudson, who's this guy that encouraged him to get his receipt before the event started.
Yeah, Andre Hudson over here. Again, I said, he's not to blame, but bloody hands, whether they are drenched or they are with droplets, the blood remains.
So when you run in on his shit, you fucking give him his receipt. You remember what a receipt is? Give him that fucking receipt, bro. Tag this shit.
Hudson himself posted to his Instagram by defending his choice of words by asserting that he never wanted Jackson to take it that far.
I wanted to go back real quick and see what that said here. There's been a lot of speculation online about my role that night. The truth is, I was in character. Bullshit. See, I didn't read this ahead of time. But yeah, I was in character. Bullshit. That is such fucking cap right there. I was in character? Yeah. You were the guy who was chastising Syko Stu for being in character. Yeah, this AJ guy is a bit of a fucking prick, huh? Allegedly. There's been a lot of speculation online about my role in it that night. The truth is I was in character and speaking in the language of wrestling. Everything I said was part of the show, and I never intended or encouraged real harm. I do believe that. I do believe that. I don't think that Andre necessarily thought that Raja was going to do that. I don't think that he was like, go out there and nearly kill this guy. But to say that he was in character in that moment, I don't buy for a second. This was a situation that unfortunately got out of hand due to miscommunication behind the scenes. No miscommunication behind the scenes. It was just Raja going full rogue, going full psycho mode. But that's what Douglas, or not, excuse me, not Douglas Mallow. That is what this AJ character had to say. Go hard on the prosecution. Raja, as an untrained person, shouldn't be... to go hard on the prosecution, Raja, as an untrained person, shouldn't have been in the ring, period, let alone after what happened. I mean, I don't mind that he was in the ring. Like, untrained people get in the ring all the time. Like, you were saying, like, IShowSpeed is not a trained wrestler. He was in there just fine. Travis Scott... Fucking Kevin James was in our current president of the United States of America was in the WWE at some point. Kid Rock, Fred Durst of Limp Bizkit. These are all people who have been involved in pro wrestling who are not trained pro wrestlers. And I was saying too that the pro wrestlers go into MMA fighters go into pro wrestling. It's all fine if this doesn't happen. So I don't think that there's anything wrong with interaction in the show, but you just have to be a part of the show and not be a attempted murderer. You know? I don't think he expected a murder, but I think he was hoping to see Stu take some real punishment. I mean, at least a potato, certainly. At least a single shot of you know, with some real emphasis, I would suspect would have been. Yeah. Because at that point, if it had been just one good hard shot to the face, it would have been like, yeah, you know, he really went on that guy. He really hit him that one time. Or man, that was a hard hit that maybe got oversold or, you know, over-delivered. And then everything would have been just on to the next thing, but nope.
It's also been confirmed that the WWE has severed all ties with KnockX Pro, and they've just removed their WWE ID affiliation from all of their social media pages, which good, fuck these clowns.
Yeah, so that was something that is a newer development there, is that, yeah, WWE was affiliated with this promotion, or the other way around. This promotion was a WWE ID affiliate. I don't know what that means. I guess I would assume that that's like maybe like a feeder organization, possibly for like wrestler development, that type of thing, because they refer to this as a wrestling academy often. So I would think that this is like a place where people go to get trained to be a pro wrestler, but that is no longer the case. And you know, WWE, of course, a major entertainment property that cannot be tainted by this type of exposure. You know, stuff with Vince McMahon, that's questionable at best, but this is where they have to sever ties immediately. Another reason I love ITP, yeah, ITP is great.
As of Monday morning, LAPD detectives have been assigned to investigate the case, which, fortunately for them, all they need to do is watch the 2-hour live stream that's still available to watch on YouTube. Also on Monday, Stu's family posted the official GoFundMe page for anybody that wants to support his recovery. I will have a link in the description for you if you're interested.
So, okay, 2 points there. One, the GoFundMe is over $100,000, as I said now, so well and far away, doing good for Stu. He's going to be taken care of there. Mr. Beast might come in and add a little to that. The other thing that he said, though, about the investigation is crazy. It is absolutely absurd that Raja has not been arrested yet. The fact that he has been in communication with the police and not arrested is crazy to me. What is the investigation exactly? What are they investigating that is not on camera? This is the most open and shut case of all time. There is no investigation. Your police work has been done for you. That should speak to the effectiveness of the LAPD. They can't even administer justice when their job was already done for them. Pathetic. Fucking pathetic. They got time to beat Rodney King's ass. They don't have time to pick up Raja Jackson. Apples and oranges. But you get my point.
And Kick.com has banned Raja Jackson. Good, this guy should never be allowed to stream ever again. Now, with all this out of the way, last night, a couple of guys who wrestle at KnockX Pro posted a video where they give their accounts of what happened, and my biggest takeaway from all of this is that it seems like the promotion is trying to deter their students from talking to the police.
All right, so let's read this real quick here. This is the screenshot of what the promotion is saying. This Kevin Thomas individual, excuse me. Kevin Thomas is a guy who was on camera at one point briefly. I think he's going to show him here at some point too. But so he's saying, please refrain from engaging in comment sections on social media posts about this tragedy. It will be weaponized in potential criminal and civil cases. Fly low. Weaponized in potential criminal and civil cases. Civil cases, maybe you make a little bit of a point perhaps, but criminal cases, that's exactly why you should be talking to the police. Is because these are criminal matters that need to be adjudicated and determined by the legal system. The flawed and broken legal system needs to be the ones being the arbiters of who should speak and when. Not you, Kevin Thomas. He goes on to say, if law enforcement or an attorney for the suspect contacts you in any capacity, let someone here know right away for guidance on how to address them. So he's going to be coaching them on how to talk to law enforcement. That is witness tampering. Well, not witness tampering. That is obstruction of justice. That is interference with a police investigation. That is criminal. So Kevin Thomas over here at KnockX Pro might be seeing some charges of his own. Probably not. But they could charge him for that. Just saying. Investigating how much money Rampage is willing to send over. Facts, Hydra. Talked about that in the video I made. Shout out to the homie Chase Parton for bringing that up in the Discord, saying that this is a big test of the depths of Rampage's pockets. If Raja Jackson does not see jail time, it will signal two things. One, Rampage is doing pretty okay financially. And two, our legal system is beyond broken. It is fractured, cracked, smashed to pieces, Humpty Dumpty, all those horses, all those men unable to put it back together. If fucking Cain Velasquez is sitting in a jail cell and Raja Jackson is not, fuck the police in Minecraft. Maybe they have to be 100% about the promotion and the promoter first, but I mean, you can still detain the liability while investigating the promotion. Yeah, no, Savage, yeah. That all of the peripheral things as far as the investigation go can all happen simultaneous. Two things can happen at once. One, you can have an ongoing investigation about the promotion, and two, Raja Jackson could be off of the streets. But I keep going back to LAPD being the worst. Correct. Raja isn't some white-collar criminal who can be left at home. He's assaulted a man over a prop can. He's a danger to anyone around him. Yes, he is a danger to society at large.
And seeing as the guys provided screenshots of the messages, I'm definitely inclined to believe them.
Yeah, this is the other crazy one. I am also inclined to believe them too. So you see here, no one needs to be discussing no one needs to be discussing anything. I'll shut this feed down, please. Agreed. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All of those yes sirs. Look at these good little yes men at the promotion. Whoever Valerie and Ron are, and Miguel over here. Pretty disgusting. That's also criminal conspiracy, by the way. If you are involved in a police investigation and you and a bunch of other people involved with it all talk to each other and come to an agreement as to not give accurate and truthful accounts of the event to law enforcement, that is a crime in and of itself. So, pretty bad. Do people think deleting an Instagram group chat will stop the police from finding it? Yeah, exactly. We're not talking about Rhodes Scholars over here, man. None of these people involved are the brightest bulbs in the pack.
This is some evil shit. They know that they messed up by allowing this untrained stranger to enter the ring after there was already an altercation prior, and now they're trying to cover it up. After there was already an altercation prior, they messed up by allowing
that one too. So, do not put yourself in the investigation. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. These are different people too. Valerie's the same, but Tyreek and Tim and Reno, whether people with us or not, family, Syko, Joe, Roman Reigns, Uso, and Sepha, Abs, Jacob are supporting us. I'm sure that all of those people that he just named are really not happy that they were just named. But yeah, just wanted to pause just to show that too, how crazy that is. All of those yes sirs are so, yeah, talk about bootlicking. Good Lord. Yes, sir. Ugh. The punk rock, scumfuck gutter punk in me is really, really sickened by yes, sir. Even if only to set a precedent and they don't spend time in jail, anyone trying to cover this up needs to face charges. Yeah, I would say so. I think that everybody in this incident needs to be made an example of, sadly. Sadly. You know? This needs to be an example to IRL streamers, even though those fucking idiots are still going to keep doing what they do no matter what, it seems. But still, it would be nice to show that if you're going to play stupid games in public, you're going to win stupid prizes that you cannot come back from. It should be a message to MMA fighters that it is never okay to use that training in this type of situation, in this manner. It should be a wake-up call for pro wrestling that it's that, you know, that these kinds of things can happen, and maybe you conduct your organization a little bit more professionally. So I think that there's a lot of learning moments, teachable moments in this all around. I wonder if they'd reply yes, sir, to the promoter. Yeah, Hydra, there you go. Yes, sir, please cuck me, sir. I'll be sitting in the chair, sir. All right.
Allowing this untrained stranger to enter the ring after there was already an altercation prior, and now they're trying to cover it up. I'm no lawyer, but this does seem like obstruction of justice to be interfering with an ongoing police investigation. I really admire the integrity of the guys in this video. They are standing up for their friend who was failed by the company that was supposed to watch out for his safety. Let me tell you, I want nothing more than to see KnockX Pro go out of business and for their owners to be sued to Kingdom Come. What a bunch of sociopaths. Stu has worked for them for years, and the moment they need to take accountability for a mistake, they start conspiring to screw him over. With friends like this, who needs enemies?
You watched your fucking friend die.
Yeah.
You watched somebody that you call family die. That means nobody is important to you. Not me, not anybody. So if I'm working for you guys and I sell as many tickets as I do and I put all this fucking money, time, and effort into this shit like I fucking do, I'm your #1 fucking ticket seller. I bust my fucking ass for you. I bust my fucking ass for you fucking guys. That means that and you won't do shit.
How long have you been there? 3 years?
3 fucking years.
Stu's been there since day one.
Okay, that is the situation.
Yeah, how about that? I couldn't agree with him more. Malo, guy is spot on. Not only a hero, but also a pretty sharp guy, it would seem. And definitely a scary one. Yeah, you know, He's out there earning money for these guys. You know, how often do we hear that situation being the case? You know, the guys that at the top make the cash, the guys on the front lines are there for a reason. You know, you take the bullets, we take the cash. So pretty sick. And, you know, yeah, I think he's absolutely correct in thinking that if something went sideways for him, that they would throw him under the bus or cast him off to the wolves the same way that they're doing to Syko Stu.
Up to now, and with all of those updates out of the way, I want to talk about how this story has taken the world by storm. Obviously, all the MMA YouTubers were going to give their thoughts on this, that's to be expected, but when guys like Moist Critical are posting videos on this situation, that is not good news for Raja. Abba and Preach, who give like dating advice for men, made a video about this as well. XQC, Tectone, Asmongold, Double Toasted, Chaos Moogle, all of these guys that don't have anything to do with MMA and probably don't even watch the sport have all given their thoughts on what happened.
Yeah, I mean, you need to talk about Mr. Beast here in a second. Yeah, I mean, it's true. This is a situation that has captivated everybody. And as I had said, it's really because it's the intersection of all of these elements. MMA, pro wrestling, live streaming, brutal evisceration of another human being. All in front of your very eyes. The modern cultural landscape that we live in. It's almost a touch point in some ways, I would say. So I understand completely why it is as captivating to people as it is. The lesson you teach his preteen audience is if Raja gets away with this will be terrible. Yeah, it's true. You're exactly right. Your number one duty as a promotion in any sport is the safety of your athletes, and they failed at every step. Correct. Yeah, exactly. And what's to say that they wouldn't do the exact same thing to anyone and everyone else? So I had said in my video that Rikishi, there was some talk about Rikishi. This is a KnockX Pro's Rikishi's organization. And there was some talk in the Discord about Rikishi being a little bit of like a gangster. You know, having some like mob kind of connections or something like that. It would seem like Rikishi is more of the dirtball side of gangsterism as opposed to the honor code side of gangsterism, if this is how his organization is responding. Now, I'm not saying that it's Rikishi specifically, because I don't know if Rikishi was one of those people in the group chat or if he even is aware of any of the things that are happening. I mean, I'm sure he's aware of it now, but if he was privy to any of those conversations, I'm just saying that if this is who you surround yourself with, then maybe he's not such a great guy after all.
Mr. fucking Beast even made a statement asking how he can get in contact with Stu so he can donate to his medical bills. When is the last time anything even remotely MMA related has gotten this much reach from big time content creators? And
I beg to differ. Peyton Talbot, recently in the New York Times. So there you go.
I understand that some of you might not have any clue who any of these people are, and that's fine, but the point is this situation was so crazy that it spread far past the borders of MMA itself. Or how about the fact that NBC, Fox, CNN, CBS, and the New York Times all reported on this story as well?
Yeah. I mean, I was saying, Beeb was saying Mexican outlets covering it, Danish outlets covering it. This is worldwide news. This is global. This is something that has reached well and far beyond any of the confines of any one specific niche, one specific audience. So, again, it's cultural touch point, I would say.
I've never seen anything like this before. In my 17 years of watching MMA, I can't tell you one single other time where a controversy related to an MMA fighter has captured the attention of both mainstream media as well as internet nerds alike. I have friends who still think that Conor McGregor is an active fighter texting me, asking me what the details of this story are. This is how widespread this assault has become. And although I am blown away at how big this situation is, it does make sense to me why. Obviously, the horrific nature of the beating is the most noteworthy aspect, but I really think that this is one of those instances where learning more details about the attack makes it more compelling, namely the fact that the entire sequence of events was live streamed in 4K video and HD audio so that people can follow the story in real time is so indicative of the times that we're living in. I mean,
yeah, exactly. There you go. Cultural touch point. You know, I mean, we're seeing it play out in front of our very eyes. I wouldn't be doubtful that you will see more things like this in the future. Cameras are everywhere. People have cameras everywhere. People are filming all the time. People are streaming all the time. He's going to talk now about the other incident with someone dying on Kickstream recently. this is what my parents have seen of MMA since Connor. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Yeah, this is something that has reached far and wide. I mean, I didn't bring it up, but I was at a family gathering the day after this happened on that Sunday, the Sunday that I made the video. And I was thinking during the gathering that I was at, I was like, I wonder how long it's going to take for my own family to hear about this. Because I wasn't, you know, it would not have been appropriate to bring it up in the context of where we were. But, you know, it was in the back of my mind. You know, it's just something. You see that footage, man, it stays with you. I mean, it definitely did for me. Like, doing all of the research for the video that I did about it, I was like, I did not want to see it again. You know, I was like, man, I've seen this too many times and I do not need to relive this anymore. So it definitely gets to you.
Just last week, there was a man who died live on stream in his sleep on Kick.com after he was viciously abused on stream for 12 days straight. Sure, these are two awful events that happened independently of one another, but the fact—
Hey, Chiwiwi. Thank you for the follow, whoever that may have been. Why are my alerts not on? What? Sorry, for whoever just followed, appreciate you. I don't know why the alerts, the sound went off, but the alert was off for some reason. Thank you, Chiwiwi. Do you think this would have ever got out if it wasn't being streamed? Yes, it would have gotten out, but without video footage, it would never have been this big of a story. No, yeah, again, that's a big reason why this is what it is. Yeah, we would have definitely heard about it if it had not been live streamed. This would have been the type of story that I would have covered on the channel, but it probably wouldn't have gotten bigger than people like my kind of a channel covering it, I would say. Because the fact that you're able to actually watch it is what made it what it was, for sure. Seeing it up close and personal, having a front and center view of what happened is a huge component of it. That's why I class the live streaming aspect of it as one of the key components. It's not just live streaming's culture, it's the viewpoint, it's the vantage that you got from live streaming.
Fact that in both the Raja case and the French streamer case, the chats were actively encouraging escalating the respective situations is despicable. The crazy part is, Raja got exactly what he wanted, kind of. He is one of the most talked about people in the United States right now. If he was not suspended from Kick, he would be pulling the biggest numbers on the website, and it wouldn't be close.
And how wild is that? How indicative of the conversation we were having earlier is that? This is what sells. Because we are evil. Human beings are the worst things, and we love it. We love, you know, it's the Marilyn Manson chant. We hate love, we love hate. My reminder reminded me to remind you about BKFC event at 2 p.m. Hey, there you go. Yes, thank you very much again, Savage. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, my man. Thank you very much for the reminder. I have it in my brain now. I was talking about it in Discord. We're doing it. We're doing the 2 p.m. BKFC on Saturday. We'll see people bare knuckle punch each other in a proper context.
I talked about how IRL streaming has become a detriment to society in my previous video, and to be fair, not all of them are bad. And to be fair to Raja, he didn't seem like a homicidal psychopath in any of the clips that I had seen him in prior to Saturday, but I guess this is what can happen when a mentally unstable person takes the opinions of random strangers too seriously. This story is such a crazy intersection between senseless violence and modern internet clout chasing that I think it really isn't all that surprising why so many people have been equal parts fascinated and horrified by what happened. And as a result, you have dudes like Mr. Beast speaking on it, and you have 174-year-old companies like the New York Times writing about it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, he's spitting facts over here. It's morbid curiosity. It's morbid interest. It's, again, the fact that we love this type of thing. It's rubbernecking. Digital rubbernecking. I hate it as much in digital form as I do driving on the highway. Anytime that there's a crash and people slow down to gawk at it, I am always the first person to whip around those people and start speeding off as fast as I can as a fuck you to all of them. Because we, as human beings, just lap this shit up. We like it. You know, Method Man. Ever hear Tikal 2000? Great record. Fantastic album. Couple little weak points on it, but overall, very, very high quality hip-hop album. The intro to that album, I'm talking about disease and pestilence and the terrible state that the world had gotten into. And at the end of that intro, he just screams out, "I like this world." Yep. How many people do you think are out there like Raja, just that push away from snapping? Brother, more than you'd think or hope to exist. Very scary. This is one of those reasons, like, I got a bunch of friends, man, who are, like, real confident when it comes to, like, handling their biz, you know? I would actually class Vitzking in this category. And I would say it to him. I mean, like, you know, this is not, I'm not trying to talk behind his back. I would say it to, I mean, like, I've said it to him. You know, he's, like, too confident sometimes. I mean, he's armed, you know, with Florida. You strap around here. But people, like, I go out of my way to disengage because of this exact type of person. Anytime that you are rising to the occasion has the propensity to rise that much higher. And I've seen so many instances of escalations that have gotten so out of hand, both in my personal life and online to a much, much greater extent. We were talking about that on, I think on stream last night. I think we were talking about that, right? Where that one neighbors incident, or maybe it wasn't last night, but recently we were talking about that, where it was that video footage, gruesome video footage. I do not recommend seeking it out. But footage of neighbors having a dispute, and one of the neighbors just pulls out his weapons and starts blasting his neighbors over a verbal altercation that probably had escalated over a large amount of time, but the fact remains. You never know what people are capable of, and you never know how many people are this close to snapping. And that's why whenever Vitzking is like, I'll just handle my biz. I'm strapped. I'm like, bro, I don't want to see you get hurt by somebody who's even crazier than your rational handling of the situation. That's why I walk away. I try my very best to disengage, because you don't know what people are, the depths of human depravity. It's a bottomless pit. Sick, sad world. I thought I was the only one. I thought I was one of the only BKFC fans in the chat. No, yeah, we'll definitely do BKFC. Why not? No fights on Saturday from the UFC. We'll do BKFC. I love BKFC. The irony of me fucking loving BKFC. Knucklemania. Hell yeah. The morbid curiosity gets the best of me. I'll go down dark rabbit holes and be like, what the hell is wrong with me? Yeah, I understand. I was the same way when I was younger. I used to you know, I mean, back when, long time ago now, but Daniel Pearl. You remember that name? Daniel Pearl, journalist, got beheaded by ISIS. Saw that video. Saw the video of the massacre at the mosque in Australia. I choose to consume dark content, morbid content, not because I like it, but because I feel, as an artist, that it is my duty to reflect the truth of the world that's around me. And turning a blind eye to the grotesque does not make it go away. I don't feel any joy or self-betterment from consuming those types of things, but I feel a sense of duty to victims to acknowledge that it happens and to reflect it in the art that I do. Obviously, not a lot of that shows in Yama, but in my writing, in my music, that's where that comes from. And I don't like it. And I don't think that I'm some type of martyr or hero by doing that. In fact, I feel almost a sense of imposter syndrome by doing that. But I still think that the importance is there, so I carry on doing those things.
Fortunately, it does seem like a vast majority of the world is in agreement that Raja Jackson should be arrested. Frankly, I'm surprised that he hasn't been arrested yet. All of the big YouTubers that I referenced earlier are appalled at what he did, and I know that all of the MMA YouTubers are disgusted with him too. Moreover, we've heard active fighters and coaches speak out about the situation as well. Kevin Lee had this to say.
Dog messed up. And if it's Rampage, I love Rampage. But Rampage, turn your son in. He got to go lay down for a little bit. Like, if it was my son, that's what I would tell him. I mean, you a grown man, bro. You can't condone that type of behavior, bro. You got to go lay down for a little bit. We'll get you a good lawyer. You ain't going to be in there forever. But you got to go lay down.
And then Tim...
Yeah. I mean, I think it goes without saying. I think everybody is in agreement that he should be behind bars for all of this. I mean, the fact that he has not been arrested is insane to me. But then again, we do live in a world where the Epstein files still haven't been released, so maybe nothing's insane to me anymore. Once again, as a Canadian, seeing how people are so willing to enter conflict with the possibility, or with possibly armed people in the States is crazy. Yeah, exactly. I find it very crazy, especially when it's people I know. I think if the world has mutual combat laws like Washington State, it would sort a lot of problems out. Yo, checkmate. Yeah, I think that there's probably some truth to that. I would say so. I mean, granted, though, you know, the thing is, though, is that not everybody's going to stand up for themselves, and not everybody's going to engage in armed combat. You know, I mean, not armed combat, but, you know, hand-to-hand combat. So, I mean, you know, it could help, perhaps. Open carry laws maybe would help a little bit, but I don't know. Do you think any of that would help that situation with Raja? If there was a guy with a gun sitting out in the open in the crowd, do you think he wouldn't have done it? Who's to say? I don't know. I mean, I'm legitimately asking. That's not a loaded question or a leading question. I don't know the answer to that. Would it have deterred him? I wonder. I don't know. Constitutional carry state, and I love it. Yeah. Strap on, strap off. Never take your motherfucking strap off. Shout out to Dilla. Always. R.I.P. Dilla. To just assume the other person is too and be polite. Yeah, right. That's how you got to be. Wish more people thought like that, though. I mean, it's crazy, though. We are in an open, well, not an open carry state, but we are in a constitutional carry state, and people still act like maniacs. Talk about that all the time. The plaza that I go get my groceries at is within walking distance from my house. The amount of times I have nearly been in altercations and seen altercations in that plaza. Wildness coming out of the shopping plaza close to my house in a state where anybody could have a gun on them. People are just, they're maniacs, bro. Kevin Lee, the undefeated GOAT. That is the truth. Absolutely. Don't get it twisted. Him and Artem Lobov. I don't think anything could have stopped Raja in that state of mind other than better friends around him to correct him. I don't even know if anybody was getting through to him. If they, you know, I mean, maybe it could have. It certainly would have helped. Somebody actually, like, being the voice of reason. It's like, he, you know, the little angel and the devil on the shoulders? It's like he only had the devil on the shoulder. Like, He needed the angel, bro. Where was the angel? Angel was on vacation. Came from Washington. They don't have mutual combat law. Had 3 assault charges in. Had to get a lawyer to help close. Yeah. Understood, bro. Glad they helped you out. But how many times was it you starting the trouble? Be honest.
Welch said this.
But once you crack somebody and then you start seeing red and you're not thinking about what you're doing and you're punching them and they're already knocked out, good chance you're going to kill them. And now you might be in the pen.
However, Chael Sonnen, of all people, has found a way to give the fucking dumbest, most asinine viewpoints that I think I might have ever heard in my life.
Raja then follows up with a right hand. Then he switches and follows up with a left hand. Now, these were hard shots. However, and again, I'm giving you my perception, but I watched this thing 20 times before I made this video to you guys. While they were very stiff shots, not what we would call a working shot, it did not appear that Raja had lost his temper. It did not appear that these were being done out of anger.
Not out of anger.
What the fuck? Uncle Chael. What the fuck? You mean to tell me you watched it 20 times and that was your take, Chael? I'm telling you, dude, sometimes Chael is like hard trolling. Like, that's beyond the pale, dude. That's so dumb. Like, Chael needs to keep it to light subjects. You know what I mean? Chael needs to keep it to talking about Conor McGregor with the fucking kettlebell on his dick. Feel me? Raja had a devil in the chat and the devil and everyone around him telling him to go for it. That is true. Normally Chael's contrarian takes can be funny, but this really pissed me off. Yeah, that's a better way to phrase it. Hydra with another good take. Yeah, he is contrarian on purpose, you know? And that can be entertaining. You know who's another person who does that and is often very good with it is Tim Dillon. Tim Dillon is, his character is very naturally contrarian. And often that is pretty funny, you know? I mean, sometimes it's annoying. I like, there have been times where I'm like, all right, it's enough, Tim. It's enough. But I see the value in that. Again, comedian myself, writer, I get all of that. That is just asinine. And with a subject matter as grim as this, Chael should have probably just stayed out of it. He probably should have just kept his mouth shut. Made a video about the hallway incident with Chael Sonnen, by the way, on the channel. Go check that out. Honestly, in my defense, I literally was in the right. I know it's hard to believe neighbors were the antagonists. I literally always move to places where I have to fight neighbors. You do have a pattern with that, Savage. And I'm not saying that you're wrong. I believe you. I believe you. You are a great member of the Yama community. I have no reason to not believe you. But all I'm saying is, what you have told me now is that you had issues with your neighbors in Washington, and then you had to fire your firearm into the air at 3 o'clock in the morning because of one of your neighbors in the Sunshine State. These are the facts. So we're going to leave it there. Maybe it is me. There you go. Creators really need to remember they're not obligated to comment on a situation. Yeah, I mean, not if you're going to do your shtick. Drop the act, bro. I mean, I haven't done the Yama show in a little while. It's been a little while since I've done Yama proper. But you hear how different I am on Yama versus how I am on here. Angry video game nerd. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I think to an extent I might be the angry MMA nerd. Similar. So it's like, it's character driven. Like, Chael is not breaking kayfabe in his videos. It's like, bro, maybe drop the act.
anger, huh? Yeah, dude. The same guy who later himself said that he was pissed off didn't do any of that out of anger. This entire video is just 12 minutes of him trying to defend his friend's son who did something completely indefensible. For a guy that claims to be undefeated and undisputed, this is a fucking L video. Chael is either blatantly misconstruing how the beating happened to defend his friend, or he's blatantly misconstruing how the beating happened to farm clicks and views, and I really don't know what's worse. Given
I do love that though. Yeah, for a dude who claims to be undisputed, undefeated, that was an L of a video. That's a bar for real.
I guess I'm not all that shocked that the same guy who committed mortgage fraud and then snitched on his friends to receive a lighter sentence would be this slimy, but still. And then he doubled down on his terrible stance in a follow-up video.
But your idea that you have all the evidence that you need and you can prove premeditation, which escalates this, by the way, from an assault to attempted murder. And all the evidence that you need, you've got. Because Raja himself told his live stream that he was going to do this. And he was going to do it to seek retribution for the disrespect he was shown for being hit with a beer can. Once again, do not get to go arrest Al Pacino for selling cocaine and chopping people up with machetes because you just watched an episode of Scarface.
Yeah, definite L take there as well. Brother, I don't know. I couldn't. I mean, ITP is taking the words out of my mouth right here. I mean, like, whether or not you're trolling here or you're really believing this, and just having like the absolute worst take of all time in your own mind. Either way, super super dumb. Like, this is really really dumb shit from Chael. Like, it really goes beyond the normal level of dumb shit that Chael says. And yeah, like I said, he brought up the mortgage fraud. I brought up the hallway incident with Chael. Chael's got his own skeletons. You know what I'm saying? And I liked it. Chael, my absolute favorite trash talker in all of MMA. I'm very clear about that as well. But I can compartmentalize the man with the mic versus the man in real life. The masks we wear. Actually insane by Chael. Yeah, facts. Man, does Chael make you feel like you lose brain cells by the second when he talks? Yeah. I mean, often. Again, a lot of it's for the lulz. I mean, a lot of it's just to be funny. But this, certainly not lol worthy.
You don't get to decide as the viewer where the show ends and real life begins because you're so skilled and talented.
I'm not even going to go into detail about how this doesn't make a lick of sense because it's so clearly devoid of logic. I've always thought that Chael was a harmless buffoon, but it's moments like these that remind me he's just an articulate idiot. Time will...
That is a again, banger bar right there, that he is an articulate idiot. Fantastic. I mean, I don't necessarily even fully agree with it. I don't know why Chael is saying that shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't get it for this specific incident, like what his motivation is. But whatever it is, it's still an asinine take. Absolutely, 100% in the wrong. Like, you couldn't be more in the wrong if you tripped and fell into it. What is the hallway incident? The hallway incident is the time that Chael Sonnen assaulted a man and a woman and several other people in a hallway in a Las Vegas hotel while he was presumably drunk and by himself. If you want more details on it, go to the video section of youtube.com/@YamaShow and you can watch my entire breakdown of it. Sorry, 1 second. There you go.
Vindicate me. When you all realize the Raja clip was nothing more than a viral clip because he is a streamer, you can all come back and apologize. Great marketing for Kick, great marketing for Raja. My favorite part was watching the wrestling dude's head bobbing to the side when he got punched in the beard. Watch it back. Oscar-worthy performance.
UFC roster watch is legitimately unhinged. This guy is, he's got a screw loose and, really should just stick to posting roster notifications because this guy is really like out there. He's like a big flat earther. Like there's a lot wrong with roster watch. So I mean, I'm not surprised at all by this, but it was yet another completely fucking buffoonish take. So L there for roster watch as well, amongst many L's for him.
Now, it's one thing to think that Raja was justified in doing what he did. I disagree with that entirely, but that is your opinion. But to act like this was some sort of elaborate publicity stunt is so brain dead. Stu is in the hospital, Raja suspended from Kick, and the WWE severed ties with the promotion. But yeah, I'm sure that this was the plan all along. Anyways, that's the video for today. Definitely let me know what you think about the Raja situation. Are you shocked at how widespread this story has become? And why do you think the police haven't arrested him yet?
I want to let that play just to say, A, I am not shocked in the slightest that the story has gone as viral as it has. And B, I could not in a million years tell you what the reasoning is that he has not been arrested. I think that justice is not being served. But, as I've said, I don't think that justice is served often in this country anymore. In fact, we are in a cycle now where our rights are being trampled upon and lawlessness seems to rule the land with an iron fist. So I don't know what the reason is, but hopefully at some point we will be hearing about Raja getting apprehended and getting taken into custody. And I guess that is about it. That is pretty much everything that we have at this point. Final thoughts on this thing now that we have spent another 3 hours talking about it? I hate it. I hate all of it. I hate it. I hate that this happened to Syko Stu. I hate that Raja was in a mental place that he could get himself to that point. I hate that he let himself get antagonized by the chat. I hate that he has Rampage as a father. I hate that his mother was murdered. I hate every aspect of this story. I hate that Malo had to be put in a position to be a hero in that instance. It's amazing what he did, and he is a legitimate hero for it. But it sucks that he had to be the hero. I hate that this is what live streaming is. I love streaming. It is my favorite thing to do. In life, I feel so blessed to even be able to talk, to anybody who cares in the slightest about the stuff that we talk about here. And that people seem to enjoy it in whatever capacity they do. It is my favorite thing to do. I wake up and go to sleep waiting for the next live stream. And as a streamer, I hate that these people are in the same field, same category, same class as what I do. I hate that this reflects poorly on MMA. We just had the article about Peyton Talbot. I was joking a little bit about that earlier, but that is like a more positive look at MMA. But you see this as a layman, as a civilian, so to speak. And what's your impression of mixed martial arts when a trained mixed martial artist goes out there and does this? I hate that this is yet another thing that pro wrestling has to deal with in its long and storied history of being the darkest, seediest underbelly in all of entertainment. Because really, I do think that that's probably not too far off. Yeah, I really can't say anything else about it. It's so unfortunate that this got to where it got to. And I think that my only hope is that there's some good that comes of it from the other side of the equation, that on the other side of it, that this can be a teachable moment, that this can be an example set by possibly the legal system, possibly by these large corporations that are our digital overlords keeping the gates when it comes to live streaming. I'm just hoping something maybe on the other side of this can be positive, because there's just no positive here. And it really sucks. So I guess that's pretty much what we'll be left with. Raja in a cage for the rest of his life. I guess that's actually a good point. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Go to Sean Strickland's page for a second here. So, because I did want to bring this up, where he talks about this. Okay, so this is Sean Strickland's take on it, and I'll read this out. This is one other little element since you brought up the sentencing here. Sean Strickland's take is, Jackson's kid shouldn't go to jail. Prison should always be a last resort. I was arrested at 19 for 2 felony GBIs. I would have spent 5 or 6 years in prison if the DA had its way. After 6 years in a cell, coming out with nothing, being indoctrinated with gangs and violence, I guarantee I would have killed someone. There was one guy telling me about how he picked up a murder charge, and I remembered being impressed by him. That would have been my future. Instead, I pled and took 100 days jail or work release, a ton of anger management, and a decent amount of victim restitution after a miserable 2 years in court. Luckily, a lawyer took my case for free because I didn't have $1 to my name. Bottom line is it's not about the person in prison. It's about who they become when they're out of prison. And I believe if I wasn't offered that deal, I would have been dead today and more than likely would have resulted in someone else's death as well. My 2 cents, rehabilitation over prison always. I thought that this was actually a somewhat nuanced take from Sean Strickland, who is yet another MMA broken clock. A very broken clock, to be sure. And I've got plenty of opinions about Sean. But I respect this opinion. My response to it is that there are certain people that I don't know if rehabilitation will work for them. Being that we went through the context that we saw, the reason that I brought up all of the context surrounding the incident is that there is a part of me that agrees with Sean. There's a part of me that believes that Raja really, that like he himself was a perfect storm of a lot of bad things that culminated in a mindset that was not equipped to handle everything that was being thrust upon him in the situation that he was in. That being said, I don't know. I don't know if he's able to be rehabilitated. And I don't know if rehabilitation is going to work for him. I would think that he is probably going to, I don't know if he has priors, probably not. If this is his first arrest for a violent offense, he probably is not going to have a long sentence. I would suspect that he might even get a sentence that's similar to what Sean ended up with. 100 days and work release, probably similar to what he'll end up with, especially with the pocketbook of his father. Will he reoffend? I don't know. I want to always try my very best to see the positive in people if there is any. Hopefully he can be rehabilitated, but I don't know. Based on what we saw, based on the level of mindless brutality that we saw from him specifically, all emanating from him in a situation he created, in a situation that he premeditated, I think that he's got to do time. I mean, there's no two ways about it as far as I'm concerned. Like this, as I said in the video I made, this is what jails are made for, is people like this. So while I do respect Sean's opinion on this, and I do think that he comes from a frame of reference that is of value in a conversation like this with his own history, I cannot agree that jail time is not what you give to this. And I do think that a hefty jail sentence is warranted. I would not be surprised if he does not get that. And I pray that if that's the case, that rehabilitation can actually help him. And that's, I guess, as good as it's going to get there. You're nothing like these streamers. Young people hate these IRL streaming bums just as much as the rest. Okay, well, good. I mean, that's good to hear at least. I appreciate that. Thank you for saying that about me. And it's good to hear that young people aren't with it. I do appreciate that. I hope that it's more than not. But I do still think that there is a sizable group that really love to antagonize, really love to troll. You know? That's just the nature of the beast. Exactly. I think streamers and IRL kick streamers are different. You don't, you do it for the love of the sport and community. Others do it for viral moments and clout. Yeah, that's definitely the truth. Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, at least. But yeah, I wasn't trying to say that we were in the same category, me and those guys. I was saying that, like, even if we're tacitly connected, even if there's even a thread of connective tissue, I don't like that they're using the same medium as me to do those kinds of things, you know? That's more of what I meant there. So yeah, I mean, obviously I'm not doing anything like that and never would, but yeah. Thanks for the stream, bro. It was nice hanging out. Savage, thank you very much for hanging out as well, my dude. Appreciate you always, and I will see you on Saturday. This is a situation that warrants the last resort, in my opinion. I agree. This isn't a man who might kill someone after jail. Raja tried to kill someone anyways. Yeah, that's true. That is true. I agree. Raja needs to be on Contender Series. I mean, that is the $1 million question, is if he gets out of prison, what organization is taking him? Because I guarantee you, bro, again, nature of the beast. We're talking about this, the internal mankind, the evil in man's soul. You know, I guarantee you that there is an organization out there somewhere right now licking their chops saying that when that guy is out of prison, we've got a sellable fight in the making right on our hands. Rasha knocks out Sean Sofa. Okay. I mean, maybe it's Uncle Dana. I don't know. Couldn't say. But, all right, guys, we've been on for quite a while. I didn't even think the stream was going to go as long as it did. So thank you, everybody, who has been hanging out for this one. It's been a long one, but I appreciate all you guys. Much love to everybody. 3 days in a row of streaming, so you've been getting a lot of me lately. The original video about this subject is on the channel now. Go and give that one a watch if you have not seen it. Make sure you're liking and commenting on stuff. It helps out. Be the change you want to see in the algorithm. You know, if you think that the stuff that I do is not the same as this and perhaps is of slightly better quality at least, you know, go and support with your attention and your likes and your comments and stuff. That it really legitimately helps, and I appreciate it a lot. So yeah, Saturday we're gonna be doing bare knuckle. You know, I got to find out where I can watch it. I got to do a little bit of research, but I'm going to try to do the bare knuckle thing on Saturday. 2 o'clock in the afternoon sounds good to me. A little afternoon stream is going to be fun. So get up early, you know, early in relative terms, but, you know, early for fights. Come on and hang out on Saturday. We'll do some bare knuckle watching. It'll be a light hang. We'll just be chatting most of the time and hopefully seeing some good knockouts and stuff. So in the meantime, have a great rest of your night. Have a great rest of your week. And as always, fight on.
Game.